Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to the program, folks. Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Tom Clark here with you as always, joined by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens. You don't know, but I may have flubbed that in an alternate timeline. You're not going to see it now because it has disappeared.
I'm actually going by Jay Higgens now.
Jay Higgens, yeah.
It's a good name.
I'm just saying.
It feels like some kind of like 70s cop show name.
Huggins and the bear. Yeah.
Huggins and the bear. Yeah. That's back to something else we were just talking about. Any 70s kids out there watching this, you need a nap. But also, we were talking about BJ and the bear earlier. Yeah. So
it's your last day on the force. You're like 3 weeks from retirement, and your replacement is an actual grizzly bear.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, there you go. Beats the heck out of a goal watch, right? So we're back here, folks, again on the Two Nations show. If you joined us last time, you know that we were at the midpoint of the show. Now we're one episode, past the midway point of the third and final season so far of the show that we call Ted Lasso. Guys, we're getting back into the show here today. We've got 5 left to wind up season 3. Joe, how are we feeling about this one going into today?
After the tremendous loveliness of the last episode, this, for the vast majority of it, is just good, daft Ted Lasso stuff. Like, it's just a series of bits of them doing, and I'd forgotten a lot of it again because I've only watched this season once. But then I forgot about the Ted Lasso thing of just when you think you're having fun, a big kick in the teeth comes along. But yeah, it's still a great episode. It's that thing that Ted does so well of just silliness, and then bring you back down to earth with a thud. It's like I said, we're in the best half of any season now. We're in the home run of it, and it just gets better and better.
You know what? That's a great point. And Jay, to Joe's point, this does feel like we're back to the fun of this universe and the lightheartedness of it and the jokes, the one-liners, the bits, the gags, the Lassoisms or the Tedisms, right? And so, like, as I watched this today again for the first time in a long time, I was like, man, it's so fun to go back to this world whenever we do this show. What do you think about this one, Jay, coming into today?
Yeah, this episode's like a roller coaster of emotions, especially because like it kind of shows like the way that like the shows is sort of, I don't want to say winding down, but you can tell it is on like the home straight where normally the big thing that happens with Sam in this episode would have been like what closes the episode, whereas it's kind of like the halfway point. I was surprised because I thought for some reason in my head I thought that closed the episode, and then when we got like that kind of like bit after, which was like kind of like, so you're not ending it on this like horrific note, it was like a little glimmer of hope, so to speak. I didn't realize how good this episode was until like I literally finished. I was like, damn, that was a really good one. Like I'd forgotten how good it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of, man, you called it, ups and downs and a lot of emotions in this one. I got teary-eyed at one point too. I got to be honest. Like it was just, because it just grabs you. You know, we talked about a lot in the past doing this podcast that like none of these are real people, with very few exceptions, and none of these situations are real. It's all, you know, whatever, but it's all fiction. But you just get so emotionally invested in this stuff, and you can't help but feel it as you go. So,
well, a bit in this is based on truth. Like,
yeah, well, that's fair.
The Ted Lasso world is adjacent to the real world in a lot of its things that happen. But one bit in particular is the bit that made me incredibly so angry I had to stop eating my tea and have a walk around the house and calm down, because I forgot it was in there. To be honest, that is a genuine thing that has happened several times.
And I was going to say I might have to lean on you
when
guys.
we get to it.
Yeah, I have to lean on you guys to get some context on it. But you know what part of the world I live in, and stuff we got happening here. So, yeah, we've all got stories of nonsense and hypocrisy and racism and all kinds of other isms. So, yeah. Again, kids, when you get this show, you get opinions from both sides of the Atlantic. All right. This is Two Nations under Ted from the U.S. and the U.K. And today, of course, we are jumping back in with episode 7. And kids, let's get this thing going, shall we? Episode 7 is the number that we're on here today. And yes, this is a really good one. This one's called The Strings That Bind Us. The original air date is April 26, 2023. This one directed by Matt Lipsey on a story by Phoebe Walsh. And of course, only 12 episodes in season 3. We are counting down, children. So hang on. Here we go. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, the AFC Richmond squad suffered a tough loss in Amsterdam. But despite the team's struggles, Ted decided to let the guys have a free night with no curfew. Higgins and Will visited a jazz club as Joy and Jamie bonded like never before, while Colin's secret was the topic of discussion for him and Trent, who could relate to his situation. Rebecca found herself in the company of a stranger who could potentially be her knight in shining armor, and Ted had an epiphany, which could mean a new direction for the team, who desperately needs a fresh approach. And that gets us kicked off here today, folks. We open with Richmond waking up. This happens a lot in this episode with a new morning, sweeping, the awnings come out.
You've got mail, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 5 times, 5 different days, unless I'm miscounted. It's
probably. It's good to show the passage of time because we're never sure how things work in the Ted Lasso universe. Also, nice to hear the Cranberries as well. Vastly underrated band.
We have Dreams by the Cranberries is playing. Jamie is pulling Roy on a bicycle.
But he's not even. He's got his feet up on the front. He's confident enough to ride a bike, but not pedal now. Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys just, I say in the intro, bonded. Man, they absolutely. Then something happens later. We're like Roy's still taking pleasure out of Jamie's pain, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah, but he still hates him. But at least he appreciates that he's putting the work in now. Also, Jamie's dressed in head to toe baby pink as well.
Yeah,
it's a bold choice.
No idea where that came from, but one of the things that this show does pretty well, kids, if you paid attention, are the little montages with music in the background. So we got a little musical montage happening. We see Jack is giving Keeley a first edition of Sense and Sensibility, signed by Jane Austen with the words, "Keeley, you go, girl," obviously written in Sharpie. Jack tells her that the book was very expensive and she can get very jealous, so she hates the idea of regifting it. And also, Jane really did sign it to her. She wants her to go, girl. I really like this bit, actually. This was really nice. Expensive first edition. Again, we're going to get into this later, but this is not the last gift. So
I was going to say the thing that I kind of picked up on that, other than it being a bit of a red flag for me, was it's kind of paralleling Jack to what Rupert was like with Rebecca.
Yep.
And obviously it's by design, but it definitely more so on the second viewing than a first viewing. It's definitely a lot more noticeable now. But yeah, it's I don't want to say it made me feel uncomfortable the first time, but it definitely is by design that it's to make you feel uncomfortable as the episode goes on.
Is there any connection to the fact that it's Sense and Sensibility, or is that just the book they chose? Because they'll layer things in here. Is there any connection at all?
I don't think so. I think it's just
it's a girl book, isn't it? I think that's what it is. Also, just looked up that copy, and that first print edition recently went at auction for $1,500.
Was that with or without the you go?
I don't know. I don't think that signature was real, to be honest. It could have been printed on, but yeah.
Damn.
So originally 15 shillings when it first came out, which I don't know how much that is in real money.
Let's
Real
find out.
money. That's a good way to go.
Probably not a lot.
£63 in today's money. That seems a
What?
lot for a book. Nah,
That
something's
seems
gone
a
wrong
lot
with the
for
internet there.
shillings.
But yeah, so while
know.
it's not like a priceless heirloom, it's still a lot of money to deface.
I don't
But
think
as you
first
said-
editions of books really hold their value that well, do they?
Stuff like that does.
Some does, yeah. How much
Yeah.
did you
Sense and
say that was, Joe?
sensibility, like, pardon, sorry.
How much did you say that was?
It said on the thing I just read 15 shillings, but that seems a lot.
So 20 shillings is £1.
Ah, mate, I was way off base then. It depends what time period it's from, doesn't it? Because money fluctuates.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true.
In the shape
So
of the
yeah,
book.
so
and
we're
everything.
about 90p, but depending on what your working wage was, it's probably a lot of money to spend on a book. But yeah, first editions and stuff do hold value because, especially for stuff like Sense and Sensibility, stuff that becomes classics, Hobbit-y, Lord of the Rings-y stuff. Even the Harry Potter first editions are worth a couple of quid now.
I was going to say the Harry Potter first editions at one point were a fucking stupid amount of money.
Wow.
But I'm hoping they've devalued now, the J.K. Rowling's piece of shit, but I digress.
We may be throwing some punches here on today's episode, kid, just so everyone's aware.
Boy,
wait until I
very
get
angry
into
after
it,
this
son.
episode.
Hope you got the bleep button ready.
We're all very angry after this episode.
We are full bore on this one, brother. I promise you. So the next little bit that happens is good. We get the first, our first look this time at Sam, and he is going into his restaurant, which I've kind of forgotten he has. I don't know the last time we saw this. Anybody remember? Was it season 2?
No, it was the opening because Saba was in it. No, it was this season.
That's right.
You're right. At the end of season 2, he bought it, and then we never saw it, and then Zava comes in.
And then we have the opening night where Rebecca
Zava,
has the matchbook and Zava's there.
Yeah.
And then
so it has
that's when Ryan. I think it was about episode 3 or episode 4.
Yeah.
It
has been dripped throughout, but
yeah.
It's he speaks to Farida, I think. This actress is Bola Akazu, I believe. He asks if they have a table for Friday night, and she just laughs hysterically. She says the restaurant's been booked for months. The waiting list is just a lie to tell people. He says they have a special guest coming. He needs a Ray Liotta for one.
Ray Liotta. I was like, lovely little
wonderful
Goodfellas reference. Yeah.
He hears cursing from the kitchen. He goes in to talk to Simi, played by this actress's name is Precious Mustafa.
Lovely.
That's her name. Best name ever.
Strong.
Who's complaining about Brenda Barreau, all right. So to narrow it down, then I got to ask you guys, a refugee boat's coming in and our home secretary wants to send them away. And he says, why would she do that? She says, because she's the devil. Who is this based on? Is she based on someone in real life in your country?
Pretty on the nose, Suella Braverman, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Priti
Priti
Patel.
Patel.
Yeah.
And it's the lowest common denominator culture war thing of there's too many people on the island. I think people think it'll sink or something if too many people come on. I don't know. Some people are thinking.
Well, it's the whole idea of like Brexit and all that bullshit where they kind of sold it on the fact that immigrants
will control our borders.
Yeah. Immigrants are coming to the country and taking jobs and taking like doctor's appointments and all shit like that. And it was basically like, as Joe said, lowest common denominator. They were kind of aiming it towards the narrow-minded bigots in the country that sadly there are far too many of them. And if it was up to me, I'd put those fuckers on boats and send them away to wherever. And let
they can go on their own little island where they can be as racist as they want to each other.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Flies style.
Absolutely. Sadly, this up until a couple of weeks ago, this was like still a reality in the UK.
It still is a reality, mate. Because they're still banging on about it, the French parties, but yeah.
Yeah, it still is a reality, but at least now, like the new government are sort of being a bit more lax with it and not letting people just.
But the thing is, these people are fleeing war zones that we've sold bombs to, and are getting into leaky dinghies and stuff to come over here because they've got family here or it's safe here or whatever. And they're like, it's just nonsense. They're illegal immigrants. No one's illegal. They're an immigrant. They're a refugee. Just fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the really annoying part about it is that Priti Patel and Swallow Braverman are both children of immigrants who benefited from immigrating to Britain and now want to pull that drawbridge up behind them. So hopefully they get fired into the sun.
Well, you guys know that's happening in this country as well. We just believe Mexicans and all immigrants to be devils. I guess I don't know what we're doing.
Unless they're doing your lawn or bringing you food or all the menial jobs that nobody else wants to do, then they're all right because they're one of the good ones.
Yeah, right. Oh,
yeah. I don't want to get into it, but I'm going to stop because it's one of the things that really annoys me. They're taking our jobs. No, they're not. You've never worked. We've all got very strong opinions on this for sure.
Yeah. I'll lighten the mood by mentioning South Park. They're taking our jobs. Remember, and it becomes yeah, it's freaking great.
Get back in the pile, boys.
It's always by
get back in the pile.
Who have never worked a day in their lives because they've got bad knees because they weigh 8,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Not to generalize.
No, why would we do that? That's not who we are. We're better than that. So the chefs, which I found are great. Every time Simi says something, they're answering yes, chef. Every time she says something to them.
I especially like the woman in the background who was just putting yams in a pot and then taking them out and then putting them back in again.
I missed that. That's great. Sam tells her it's too early to be this angry. Maybe you should start drinking coffee again. It's good for your heart. He's concerned about the spoons. They don't match the fork. She tells him the food's good. No one cares about the spoons. That'll come back later. He tells her that his father's coming all the way from Nigeria, and she says, yeah, if this bitch lets him in. Good line.
Yeah. But I
team
love
meeting
how
at the...
it's Sam panicking again.
Yeah.
Things not being 100% perfect for his dad because he doesn't want to let him down, doesn't want to disappoint him.
There's a lot of that in this show, too.
It's always Sam. Like, as soon as his dad told him about the oil spill and stuff, he was immediately like, I don't want to let my dad down. Regardless of what it does to me personally, and it's just the fact that it's gone from that to spoons not matching now. It's it
also kind of like there's the other reoccurring theme where wherever Sam tries to use his sort of celebrity, so to speak, for like a vehicle for good, it always leads to something bad happening to him.
It does.
Like doing the Khufu stuff, then this, and it's just like,
I forgot about Edwin. I burned down your house and poo on the ashes. Yeah.
I just love him slowly choking the mannequin.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh.
Hey, we've got Edwin coming back in an episode.
He is back. He's the Metal
Maniac.
Maniac.
That's the return of Edwin a Khufu.
Oh man. Yeah, he's a trip. I can't wait till that one happens. So this is an important part of the episode because what they're going to do with this total football stuff is going to inform a lot of what happens with the show in terms of what happens on the pitch moving forward in a big bad way.
We also, I think you may have missed it, but it happens a lot, is Nate going past a taste of Athens looking through the window.
That's right.
Which happens a lot in this episode, like a creepy stalker boy.
It's mad because like he's really, again, it's like the old Nate's back with this. Like, Jade's kind of like the catalyst that brings back the old Nate, where he's terrified. And even when she like points at Aaron like the other waiter, and he's like, no, you.
But she knows what she's doing. She's just winding him up, like, because But it is.
Well, I think it's really lovely. They're like kind of like progression through this episode, though.
Yeah, it's the start of the Nate redemption, in its very, very early chrysalis form.
Yeah. Well, the two words of this one here is total football. And we're back at the dog track, and Ted is queuing up some game footage on the TV. And Coach Beard is talking about total football, and he says the 1974 World Cup, The tiny country of the Netherlands came out of nowhere. It's like he wrote this and made it all the way to the World Cup final, playing the home team, heavily favored Germany. Those Dutch hippies scored before the Germans even touched the ball. Jan Moss says
his presentation of it, like the total football and like the 3D graphic that comes in. It's just unnecessary but brilliant.
Yeah. It is unnecessary. Jan Moss says, yeah, but Holland lost that game. Coach Beard says, correct. But along the way, they won the hearts of fans all around the world with a style of play, dare I say, a philosophy called total football, which coincidentally, Coach dreamed up in a barbecue sauce-related hallucination just last week. Ted says, no, it's true, but hey, it's not about me. Go on, keep shining. And then they start talking about the Johan Cruyff. For Christ's
but
sake.
Jan Mass corrects him, doesn't he? Because I think I think that's the running joke. Is no matter how you pronounce it, you're always going to be corrected.
Yeah,
I love him when Beard goes.
Do you know who this is?
I know who this is. And Isaac goes, "It's Tim Robinson."
It's Tim Robinson from I Think You Should Leave.
That's all I could see. That's all I could see.
He does look like a hairy Tim Robinson. Yeah,
he does. I really want Dutch footballer Tim Robinson in the sketching next season.
Oh, yes.
That's really good. He Beard says he took his small club Ajax to 3 straight European titles. Ajax, excuse me. See? Yeah. And then he took total football to Barcelona, where he won the Spanish championship 4 years in a row. Now, his central cog of that team was an industrious but brilliant midfielder named Joseph Guardiola, a.k.a. Pep. Joseph,
I don't think Pep was a midfielder.
What?
It doesn't matter. I just like the fact that he's got all these pictures and this text.
He did play in that team, though. I will. Yeah, I'm not going to shit on that bit, but I'm pretty sure they got his position wrong.
Ted says, look at that head of hair. God had to take it away just to balance things out, you know? Great.
And Roy just goes,
yeah. Coach Beard says Pep became a coach as well, honing his own version of total football that he took to Barcelona and Bayern Munich, eventually landing at our great white whale, Manchester City, and the players have to boo that. It's pretty good. Where he briefly coached a very talented young player until that beautiful dum-dum quit to go do a reality show. James says, I was robbed.
So,
but again, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say the fact that Jamie embraces this, where in the seasons previously, even last season, he would have been furious they were taking the piss out of him, whereas now he's just all right.
He's self-deprecating himself. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Jamie's almost there.
He's almost there.
Pep was a defensive midfielder. I was slightly wrong. Basically, between the two.
Beard says total football is about constant movement. Players are no longer in set positions. Defenders are free to attack. Attackers are trusted to defend. It's about taking risks and supporting each other's choices. Sam says, when your friend wears something new and outside his comfort zone, and instead of ignoring it, everybody pays him a compliment. And all the players have to agree with this.
Yeah. Again, it's that Ted Lasso thing of just a weird offshoot that they all do. And who is this guy?
Colin says, by the way, great hat, Ash. And they all turn around. There's this guy with a big hat, and he's like, hey, all right. Roy says it is pretty sweet.
Until that point, no one had mentioned it. It really frames his face.
Never. Yeah, we ever heard the word Ash even mentioned?
No.
Nope.
They're just the tertiary characters, aren't they?
That's really good. Roy likes it as well. Ted says, yeah, it frames his face nicely. How did I get it frames his face nicely but butcher the intro of this episode? Come on, man.
It's fine.
Coach Beard says, exactly. Total football is about letting go of your baggage and trusting your intuition. It's jazz, it's Motown, it's Mamet, it's Pinter, it's Einstein, it's Keurig, it's Gagall. It's my mother's proudly displaying her vibrator on the bedside table. And they all look at each other.
Everyone goes.
It's about throwing off the constraints put upon you by society and by yourselves. We all know football is life, but a beautiful life is total football.
It's Pinter, not Pinter, just to point that out.
See, twice I butchered.
Although that is a joke in Red Dwarf, but that's not for here.
See, I knew that. I didn't know that. And when he tells them they're going to start playing it, they go from happy with the history lesson to hating it. Jay, why would a team hate total football? Because it just completely disrupt everything?
I don't think it's so much they'd hate total football. I think it's that they'd hate the idea of changing the formation halfway through the season. Usually you tend to find when a team tries something different, that's when they're gonna do it like during the summer when they've got the break and they've literally gonna have an entire like 6 weeks to basically practice without anyone kind of like looking at what they're doing and being under a microscope of trying this new formation. Sometimes you'll see it if a team's, I don't know, say for example, like a team has either won the league already and they literally have nothing else to play for, or if a team is like statistically they can't go any higher or lower in the league. The last couple of games you'll see they experiment with like different formations just to see if they can get it working for the following season. Middle of the season, it's insanity. It's like, what are you fucking doing, Ted? But it's one of those things where if you can get it working, obviously it's a master stroke. But if a lot of the times you tend to find like if players are being given like a completely new tactic or a new formation at any point in the season, but especially the point where Richmond are at, they're gonna not really be that receptive to it, and it's gonna be a lot of essentially it's gonna be like kind of trying to speak in another language is the best way to describe it. Where like if they've been doing the same tactic and the same sort of plays for God knows how long, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, we're going to try this now. It's like working in London when they're being expected to start speaking in French for like the rest of like the week, even though you don't know a lick of the language. So it's a ballsy move by Ted to do that at this point.
Roy kind of says we're going to go and practice it, and then we'll be ready for next year. And Ted goes, no, now.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's fucking insane. Yeah.
Especially like a style like total football, which as they kind of illustrate in the training later on, it's like it does rely on like everyone kind of being interchangeable cogs in the team. And just like keeping the shape, but keeping it in a way where like you've got to be watching everybody and all kind of like on the same page. It's a very difficult formation to play. That's why you don't see a lot of teams playing it.
I was going to say, does anyone actually use it in a modern day situation?
City sort of.
Oh, okay. I mean, I watched 3 matches in the past 2 weeks. So well done me.
I'm trying to think if anyone in the Euros did. I tell you, didn't actually Holland.
It's expected now, though, isn't it? You see, you got to mix it up.
Yeah, Spain kind of did. In the Euros, but yeah, it's one of those things where I think the most notable was when Barcelona won everything about like 10-15 years ago now, and they literally were just like a breath of fresh air to football, and it was when Pep Guardiola took over and like literally won pretty much everything he could in his first season. It was like, holy shit, how the hell did he do that? Because he come from like nowhere. But it was, again, it's one of those things where because it doesn't get used often, when it is used, it's devastating.
Stymies people. Do you reckon Pep had a barbecue sauce hallucination?
I mean, he may have done. So, fun fact about Pep, which I found out before, was that his last career year as a player in football was in like some small Mexican team. So he could have had what's it like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer has the peyote and goes in the desert. He could have done that. We just don't know.
He could have done. Yeah, he could have had an insanity chili. We'll never know.
Could have. We'll never
insanity chili. I like the guys are not happy, right? And as they're leaving, they're all just murmuring amongst themselves.
Hush your butts.
Hell, hush your butts. Hush your butt. He's like, come on, let's go. Hush your butt. He said, got to hush them butts. Isaac, come on, be a cat and get that butt hushed. I don't want to hear it. Van Dam, hush your butt. He just keeps going. It's so good.
Little callback to Ted Lasso there.
Yeah.
At Keeley's office, Barbara comes in for a great exchange. She says, oh, Mrs. Jones, we have a problem. Oh, no, wait. Actually, we don't. Sorry. Sort of force a habit or something. I'm just dropping this off. And she sees the book on Keeley's desk. Barbara goes, oh, I never would have thought you liked books. I mean, that you collect first edition. She goes, oh, I know, I don't. But that was a gift from Jack. She says, oh, what a very nice gift to receive from your boss. Well, she's not really my boss, right? She's helped me execute my vision. Oh, well, it must be nice to have such a generous friend that delivers expensive gifts to your place of work. She just keeps digging.
Yeah.
Is this her trying to figure out how to be human?
The more we find out about Barbara, the more I'm intrigued by her.
I'd love a spin-off of Barbara. Even if it's just like a mini series of like 4 episodes, just of Barbara just living a life. Because the more she's kind of like what Beard is to Ted, Barbara is to Keeley.
Oh,
in a weird kind of way.
Yeah,
she's like the enigmatic like person.
Beard though, isn't she? But I'll send you later as well. Harvey sent me a thing before of Katie Wicks's autobiography is out, and there's a bit in it of talking about her best friend at school who then became her bully and stuff. It's a fascinating read, and like just the Ted's son bullying and stuff. It's a little bit of a time, but it is a fascinating read into just like how bullying can really mess people up for a long period of time. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Katie Wicks in this episode as well is like a proper unsung hero. Like it's
say a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in mannerisms are just like, especially again, knowing what we know, it's almost like that she's kind of, I wouldn't say concerned for Keeley, but she's like, it's like she's seen this before.
Yes. Yeah.
Like just
I think
the way
she's grown fond of Keeley because Keeley got rid of Shandy. She's let her see her snow globe collection. You know what I mean? Like she's let her in a little bit.
Oh, like I think the thing is Barbara like doesn't really have any roots anywhere. Like she travels around for a living, and the only kind of memento she has from that is her snow globes. Whereas like Keeley, when she had that conversation with her about the snow globes, basically kind of like humanized her in a way that I don't think that she's used to having done to her. So obviously now, like even though she's still very passive aggressive towards Keeley, there is like the bit later in the episode where like her reaction to stuff, and it's like you can see that Barbara's seen this happen before, and she's worried.
Because she gave it me when we had breakfast the other day, and she's like, "Oh," and then Keeley tries to backtrack massively.
I mean, coffee
digs deeper and deeper as well. Like
this as well. So obviously, like she says, breakfast. I mean, coffee. I mean, I was late anyway. It literally predicts the scene later in the episode.
Yep.
It's so clever.
Yep. No, it's great. It's like really, really brilliant. But she's like, "Oh, that must be nice. I just had a warm yogurt on the tube."
Yeah,
in my pajamas.
In my pajamas. I'm like, Barbara, what are you doing, you madman? Oh.
Yeah.
Says, I got on the bus to work, and a woman got on with I got a bowl out, a box of cereal, thing of milk, had her cereal on the bus. I was like, just get up 10 minutes earlier.
Jesus Christ, man.
And especially on the tube, Jesus, that's.
Oh, this was on the bus to work, but like,
like, sorry, I thought you meant Barbara on the tube.
No. But she's like, yeah, sometimes I come in my pajamas and just get changed in the toilets. And I'm like, what is your life, Barbara? We need to know more.
But instead, Keeley just says, "Ooh,
smart." There's no response to that. If someone tells you that, there's nothing you can say that either. No, there's just no response. Okay, I'll just walk away.
I like they ended it with, she says, "Mrs. Jones." Keeley says, "Barbara." They just leave it very formally. That was a nice touch. Nate is in his office and he gets a text from his mom. She's reminding him about his sister's birthday party tomorrow night. I noticed on the text message, because all they do in this show is world build, that there's a photo of the back of the TV and she says, "Cheeky, the internet is out." And he says, "Mom, it's unplugged."
Yep.
You notice later that his sister calls her daughter Cheeky as well. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is it?
Might just be a family, family nickname, like a
Yeah, it could be.
You know what I mean?
Could be like, it could be like that. Obviously, his mum calls him it, and then it's something his sister's kind of picked up. Again, it's a little bit of foreshadowing in the sense that where Nate's sister's very much like her mum, Nate's very much like his dad.
Ooh, interesting.
And obviously that like is foreshadowed to later in the episode again. But there's a lot of kind of like little bits of foreshadowing in this first 10 minutes of the episode that get paid off by the end.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. She's reminding him on the text about his sister's birthday party tomorrow night. He says, "A taste of Athens restaurant." You know, that's what he wants to do. My treat.
Oh, hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she says, "I'm cooking and don't be late. You know how your father gets." He talks to Siri about putting it on his calendar and then decides to ask her about women. He says, "Siri," and the phone answers, "Yes, Wonderkind," or Wonder.
I was going to say,
God.
Do you reckon that's like his same phone that he's had since like Richmond, or do you reckon that's like he's got a new phone being like the manager?
Oh, Rupert would have
bet it's
given him
the
a
same
new
phone.
top of the
I was
line.
going to say,
maybe so.
It feels kind of like Rupert's got that set up for him.
Oh,
Could be.
Because
possibly.
Rupert's a knobhead.
But also, early Nate in this season would have definitely put that in there just so that someone calls him Wonderkind instead of Wonderkid. Like,
yeah, but also I do think that like because Rupert's trying to sort of like manipulate Nate by hyping him up as being this Billy Big Bollocks, and obviously by calling him,
yeah. I also found it hilarious that he put it in his phone like he was going to be doing anything else. It's Nate. What does he doesn't go and do anything, does he? Like, yeah.
For
but
real.
then how do you know if a girl likes you? Oh, she's just being nice. You don't.
You can't. Yeah.
Thanks, Siri.
By the way, I tried this on my phone after watching this, and my Siri said, "Everyone's different, so it's hard to tell." And that's my way of saying I have no idea.
Okay, well, that's a bit more, but yeah.
There you go. It changes every time. It gave me, the next one was huge. So yeah, try it when you get a chance. It's fun. Siri can get belligerent. If you come at her with fists, she'll come back at you. It's fun.
Mine's turned off. I don't want it. Well, I know it's listening to me anyway, but
I use it. I don't use it all the time. Beard and Ted are in the Crown and Anchor. Haven't been in here, and especially with May for a long time, who we finally see here.
No, we've not seen May in ages. Yeah.
Beard says, "I'm starting to get all these subtle little hints from Jane, like certain magazines left on the coffee table, and always hearing about her friends who are doing it." And he says, "Well, marriage is a big commitment, you know." And Beard says, "No, I'm talking about pegging." He goes, "Oh, well." Wait, man, what magazines?
See what magazines? Yeah. Pegging Weekly? Like,
Jesus. May brings beer to their table, and she says, "We win, this place is packed. We lose, it's like this." And we see Richard at the bar that we haven't seen in a long time. He says,
"Yeah,
I actually prefer it. You can finally hear yourself thinking here." May says, "Fuck off." Baz, Paul, and Jeremy walk up. By the way, sometimes in this show, it feels very much like a video game where different characters come up to speak to you and then they walk away, and then you go to speak and then you walk away. Do you know what I mean? It's fine. But that kind of hit me.
Near the pinball machine, weren't they?
I was going to say,
working up the courage to go and talk to them.
Well, I mean, they're pretty much always there anyway.
Yeah, as we find out later on, they spend all their life in the pub.
Yeah. Even though Baz has a job now,
he does.
But we don't know what. But
it's fun.
It is very much like that is their life. They'll finish work and they'll go to the pub
until chucking out.
Ted says, "We wanted to apologize." Ted says, "What for?" He says, "For getting all soft on you." Jeremy says, "Yeah, we humanized you and lost all objectivity." Paul says main reason why farmers don't name their livestock. From out of nowhere, and they never talk about that again. They just move on. Jeremy says, and why we don't learn the names of Baz's brother's girlfriends anymore. Because he's a male whore. Exactly.
He's a male whore.
So we're going to backslide a little bit. Now, what the fuck are you doing to our team, wanker? And Beard is ready to get up. He's getting up.
Beard's ready to throw hands, yeah.
And Ted's like, whoa, hold on. He says, why don't you come to training tomorrow? See for yourselves. We ain't running a chocolate factory or a Deutsche Bank. We got nothing to hide from y'all. They try to
when he says that as well.
They're trying to act tough, but you can tell they're like, all right, well, okay. And when they turn around, Paul's like, should I wear a suit? Jeremy says, I'm definitely going to take a shower.
I'm definitely having a shower. I'm like, oh, boys, this is why you've got no women in your life.
They're so happy.
Oh, man,
Coach,
whatever you into.
Yeah, Coach Beard says, you sure it's smart to invite fans to our practices? I love this line. Ted says, it's their team. We're just borrowing it for a little while.
Borrowing it.
You know, every major sporting league is a business. They condition players to think of it as a business. We're businessmen. I mean, it's not real, but it would be refreshing occasionally to hear a coach or whatever say, it's y'all's team. We're just borrowing it this season or however long we get to be here. We'll do the best we can for you. I love that. It'll never happen.
But also, it's kind of like Ted. I get with Ted not wanting to be there as much as well. He's
that's fair.
Maybe sowing himself a seed to get himself out later on. Should everything go according to plan? I don't know. I think it's just an off the cuff comment, but
yeah,
nothing happens.
I think it's obviously it's playing into the the end game for what we can what happens at the end of the season. This is kind of like the not the first domino to fall, but this is like the sort of first sort of indication that that's where they're going with it. And it's one of those things as well where you wouldn't really see that happening with a lot of teams. You'll see every now and again, like a team will have like an open day where they'll do like a training session in the ground and they'll let fans come and watch it, and they might do like a training match for the fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, you'd never in a million years get them going, oh yeah, do you want to come to our ground to watch training?
By the way, we're gonna just gonna be people running up and down the field until they vomit. Yeah.
You wouldn't have that. They'd have a little bit more like a bit more like pizzazz to it.
Oh,
but
yeah,
again,
yeah.
That's Ted's like heart on his sleeve with nothing to hide. Yep. We're not a Deutsche Bank. If you want to come and see what we're doing, I appreciate your input. Like, it's Ted's way.
I mean, this was the guy that let the water boy / kit man ask him what he thought in season 1. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's Ted. I love this because Beard says, anyway, I guess marriage and pegging aren't all that different. Ted says, yeah, it's all about compromise. So the next day, we hear Sometime in the Morning by the Monkees. It's another sequence of the town opening up. This is number 2. And Nate once again comes up to the window of the restaurant. Derek scares the hell out of him. I love freaking Derek.
I hate Derek.
I love him. Are you serious? I love this guy.
I just know too many people like him.
It is like legitimately like some people I've worked with in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
He's like celebrating Nate. He's like the hottest coach in the league. I want a lot of money off your lot, so keep it up, please. Table for one. He says, I'm just passing. Is Jade working today? And she goes, no, she's off Tuesdays. She goes to school or feeds her mom. I don't listen, so I don't really know. I love that line.
That's what you want. Yeah.
Honesty. Yeah. He's a little classless, but I love this guy.
Oh, he's so classless.
Oh, he's a scumbag.
He's food's free, but you got to charge for the booze. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to charge for the booze.
Charge for the booze.
He says, well, just tell her that I said hello. Actually, don't. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Unless she asks after me, in which case just say I said hello. He's like, and why would she ask after you? It's not that Derek's being a dick. He really doesn't understand what Nate's trying to say.
No.
At all.
But he doesn't see Nate as a human, does he? He just sees him as football, mate. Like,
he's like, why? I think in his head though, he's also kind of thinking, well, why is he wasting his time with her?
Yeah.
He's a football manager.
Yeah, he brought what was she called? The supermodel.
Anastasia.
Anastasia. Yeah, like, not saying that Jade isn't a pretty girl, like, but in his eyes, it's all status, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, this is also classic old Nate of like tying himself in a circle with a conversation that's not happened. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Ted, Beard, and Roy are walking onto the pitch. Baz, Jeremy, and Paul are in the stands. They yell, "Hi, Ted!" They're so happy. Like, I love these guys, man. They're so happy to be there. Roy says, "The fuck are they doing here?" And Ted's like, "I don't know." Beard invited them, and Beard's like doing this.
His reaction to that's fantastic.
Ted says, "All right, merry pranksters, if we're going to play total football, there are 4 things we need to focus on. Number 1, conditioning. Y'all got to get in even better shape. Number 2, versatility. Number 3, awareness. Number 4, I don't know what that one is yet, but I know it's important." He turns it over to Roy, who yells, "Whistle! On your feet, maggots!" Right, today, if you're going to run from end to end, right, you're going to run from end to end to end. But lucky for you, I'm in a good mood. So you've only got to do that for the whole fucking practice. Whistle! Baz is like, "Why didn't he just use a whistle?" And Jeremy says he's allergic to metal. And Paul says, "Football stars, they're just like us."
I love that callback. And then Ted straight after going, we could just get you a plastic whistle.
Yeah.
There's a great bit with this where it shows, like, obviously that Jamie's training is paying off. Because while everyone else is struggling,
gassed.
Jamie's barely broke a sweat.
Good observation. Yeah.
Well, like, is it Bumbercatch? Like everyone just starts vomiting, don't they?
Yeah.
Like,
that comes.
Jan Mas is consistently vomiting throughout.
He is. They, well, first we go back to Keeley's office. This is where Jack comes in. She comments on the daisies, which will be paid off later. Yeah. And she tells her that they're her favorite. She goes to kiss her, and Keeley suddenly grabs the remote to automatically dim the windows, to shade them. She turns it off. And when she turns it back off, all the workers are just staring at them.
Like the weeping angels, yeah.
Oh, it's great. She's panicking and tells Jack, about the deal about office romances.
Off. Right. So good.
She's saying she's not good at office romances. Jack tries to reassure her. Jack says, "We can't get into trouble because we're 2 consenting adults, and I'm a get away with murder rich." So she's like, "Really? Like, who else? Name names." Everyone connected to Epstein.
There's red flag number 2.
Yep.
Well done. Jack opens the door and announces to the office that she and Keeley are dating. Dan congratulates them. He gets up and says, "Congratulations. Love is love." And then Barbara just immediately cuts him off.
Nope. That's enough, Dan. Sit down.
Yeah, Barbara's just like shutting that down. It's brilliant.
I wanted to know what he was going to say. Dan was going to say something quite deep, quite emotional. This is yeah.
I was going to say the other thing as well. Obviously, Jack says if you've got any issues, you can take it up with me or Keeley or Barbara.
Or Barbara.
So again, it's like, and you can see Barbara's uncomfortable with that. Like, and you
Barbara just kind of goes, "Why me?
Yeah,
me? What have I got to do with this?" Yeah.
But again, it kind of shows the difference between Keeley and the way Keeley sees Barbara and the way Jack sees Barbara. Yeah. Jack literally sees Barbara as an assistant.
Yeah.
Keeley sees Barbara as a colleague and another person who works with her. Not more importantly, a human, not just
a machine.
Yeah, not just like her PA.
Yeah, good call. Barbara's great. Dan might be my favorite. So back on the pitch, this is the spot you guys were talking about earlier. The guys are wiped out one by one. They start throwing up. Jeremy says, "This is some of the best puking I've ever seen." Paul says, "Yeah, me too. And we spend most of our lives at the pub." Ted calls him in. He says, "All right, you know what? That's it for the day. Now we scrimmage. And I'm like, dude, you're killing these guys, man. Oh, it's great. Keeley's out to dinner with Rebecca, and she's told Keeley about the night she had with Mattis. Is that we decided?
We know his name. Rebecca doesn't know his name, and
they never say it.
You never told him your name, and you never found out his. No. It's. I've missed Rebecca and Keeley together because they bounce off each other so well. It's beautiful.
They do.
It's fun. And by the way, as a sidebar, we've talked about this, I'm sure. This whole cast are still friends. They actually like hang out and go to lunch and stuff. I'm constantly seeing on social media or hearing on podcasts how they text each other constantly. They're always friendly.
I was going to say, like, Nick Mohammed and Phil Dunster are like really good mates, aren't they?
Yeah. But I'm not sure what it was, but there was I think it was an international football game, and a lot of Richmond were there, and they did an interview. Like they just, and they did it all in character.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll try and find it. It was on Twitter ages ago, but it was just a nice bit of them just going watching football together. And like,
you can also play as Richmond in one of the FIFA games.
Yes, yeah, it was added in on last year's or the year before.
FIFA 23, I believe.
Yeah,
and Ted Lasso's in it as well.
I remember the advert for it because you've got a terrible CGI mustache. Yeah.
I want to buy it just to play as AFC Richmond. I think that'd be fun.
I did play a game as them. You do have Zava as well, which makes me happy.
Oh wow!
Whatever button you press, it just passes to Zava though.
It does, yeah. It makes it hard to play because you're always passing the ball to Zava.
Always passing the ball. Rebecca says, look, what we shared, it just transcended sex. It was, Keeley says magic. Rebecca says gazillig. She says, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen his penis, which is good.
When Rebecca says that, like the Hazilic as well, and like Keeley just looks like
Keeley gives her a look like, something's happened here.
So confused, but you can see that like that clearly meant a lot to Rebecca.
It's something's changed in her. Yeah.
This is the bit where Rebecca's telling her that Jack may be love bombing her.
Love bombing. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, "What's that?"
It's the whole. She's like, well, it's where it's the hide. But it's the thing they say. Who's they? Those people.
Yeah.
Those people.
It's just a good bit, like. Yeah. But again, as soon as she says it, I'm going, "Oh, that's what she's doing."
But that's the other thing as well, though. Like Rebecca's not warning Keeley. Like I think she's kind of like planting, like giving her the idea that obviously this is a red flag. But she outright says it's a red flag, doesn't she? And then Keeley kind of dismisses it. But I think she's also like giving her the advice in a sense that I'm not going to tell you should do this. I'm just going to tell you like this is my experience of it.
That's it. She makes a point.
You're a grown up. You can make your own mistakes.
But I don't want to see you hurt.
This is my experience from it, and you know what it did to me, sort of thing.
Just like what a good friend would do.
Yeah. She's very tactful with it, though.
She goes on about Rupert with, what was it? The so many tulips that.
That's later.
Oh, that's later on, isn't it? No, it's the car, isn't it?
She says like on a second date, he took me into a car dealership and said, "Pick whatever you want." I didn't know if he meant a car or all the women that were fawning over him to try and sell me a car.
Yeah.
She got the Jaguar, so there you
go. Yeah. And then I left with a Jack.
But she also goes, I knew it was a red flag, but it was nice to be taken care of and have someone want me. And
she makes a point to tell Keeley, that I'm not saying Jack is like Rupert, but sometimes shiny things can tarnish.
Shining things can tarnish.
Yeah. Great. She tells her, she says, "Oh my God, you're one of those they that name stuff."
Well, she said
Keeley
that
was talking about.
love blind. She says
Love
where
blind.
Yeah.
you walk past red flags because you don't want to see them. Also, we should start
I
calling
mean-
them red cards as it's football related.
Oh. The point is driven home as they ask for the check, and the server says that Jack has already paid for the dinner. And so Rebecca orders 2 very expensive bottles of champagne and tells the server to get one for yourself.
I'll take the cash, thanks. But that's quite controlling as well. She knows where Keeley is.
Well, like Keeley looks genuinely like almost ashamed.
What
like she
you
looks
said
embarrassed
is happening.
Because like normally it would be like either Rebecca's getting her as a treat or Keeley's getting her.
It'd be put your purse away, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
For
For this, it's like again, it's kind of it's kind of solidified the point Rebecca's just made to her.
Yeah.
And
Keeley's got her own money. Rebecca's got her own money. They don't need someone to look after them.
And Rebecca calling the bluff, basically. Calling the bluff, but like kind of milking it, going, well, we'll get some tiramisu and 3 bottles of wine and
with like 36 like champagne. That's gotta be dollars. Like,
yeah, it's a big long word, but like several words.
I
looked it up. Yeah, I looked it up, and according to, if I've got there's several selections to look at, but one of the ones I found was $900 a bottle.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Do you reckon they're just tanning them at the table?
Oh, yeah.
Or Rebecca's taking them home.
They'll take them in a rickshaw, like, and for the children.
Oh yeah,
wonderful, wonderful. At Nate's parents' house, they're celebrating her sister's birthday. Karen Joel plays Nate's sister Nicole, and he, along with his niece, have made a box for her. It looks like a cake. This box is fantastic.
Boxes.
It's boxes, yeah. They're called back.
We've not seen that since episode 2, season 1, baby. If that
season 1, I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
When they do the whip round, is it? Jamie puts his chewing gum in.
I was gonna say, isn't the one when Nate gets promoted and they do the
possibly,
like the sort of,
actually,
the pop for him to congratulate him.
Yeah,
but still, it's still a nice bit.
Well, it's showing the whole point of a lot of the stuff with Nate in this episode is it's showing the old Nate's in there. There's still glimmers of him.
Yeah.
And this is like another sort of thing that he's done this for his niece. It's just like a nice like thing, isn't it?
He likes making them.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
He's very good at it. Yeah. His sister Nicole wants to know about his love life. His dad decides it's not talk for a young lady, so he and the daughter and her dad leave to go get some ice cream. And Nate tells Nicole and his mom about Jade. And he says, she used to hate me, but now she, well, I don't know. I've misread signals from women before, but I mean, how do you tell if a girl likes you or is just being nice to you? And they both at the same time says, you can't, which is good. Nicole tells him to ask her out. What's the worst thing that can happen? Well, that she laughs in my face and says no, and that I scurry away humiliated, never to be allowed in my favorite restaurant ever again. So the next time we have some kind of family celebration, I'll just have to, sit on the pavement outside, eating takeaway fish and chips, watching you through the window like some Dickensian street urchin. Nicole says, oh my God, he's just like Dad. That's a callback.
Yeah. But again, Nate, just this whole thing that, like, just spiraling. It's madness.
And, when we started this episode, this season, we're talking about Nate's turn and everything. Another sign that he is not progressing in terms of maturity level, that job has not given him confidence at all. Like,
no,
you kind of think it would, even if he does turn into a douchebag, his level of confidence is still in the toilet. Like,
well, I think the thing is with Nate is that obviously, even though he felt like he didn't have that kind of support system from Ted, he really did. He had Ted there to kind of like give him a pat on the back when he was doing well, or like, and kind of like at times he had other people to sort of like go, "What are you doing?" When like Beard was when he was kind of like putting a foot wrong. Here, he's left to his own devices, so he's probably got imposter syndrome.
His only friend is Siri.
Yeah.
Like, and again, when we saw him like yelling at people, going to stand on the idiot line, and Mr. Disco comes in.
Oh, I love Disco.
Yeah, like Stick is fine, but Stick doesn't, like, Ted was very carrot and stick. You know what I mean? It's and he thought that you could just bully people into doing what you want. It doesn't work. I think he's realized that, and he kind of is now like, I'm lost. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in a job I don't really want. And yeah, it's weird for Nate at this point.
Yeah,
because in this episode there's so much of old Nate. It's all old Nate.
Yeah, he's
all the
practically back.
insecurities, all the bumbling, all the insecurities are all back.
He's basically about to throw the Emperor down that big like exhaust shaft.
Yeah. Oh mate, that'd be great.
Oh, it's good. She basically they're both encouraging him, and they show him this map that his dad kept. It's got the distance between where they were born, he and his wife now, they were born, they're raised, the campuses they were on in college, and includes him asking her out. It's all diagrammed. It's all blueprinted, basically.
It's a beautiful.
He planned it all.
That's romantic as hell, though, man. Like,
yeah. A little stalky.
No, it's done. I think it would have been done. I don't think he was like when they were being raised. He was like, right. It's just like he's got to know her and he's found it out, and this is a romantic gesture, sort of thing. It's. But again, it's Nate's dad. You don't expect that from him.
I was gonna say the whole point is that Nate's dad's very like sort of like stiff upper lip, like older generation, isn't he? But then like he's got, and even like his mum's like, I didn't even know he knew it existed. I was hoping he would, and then he did this romantic gesture, and it was like, oh wow, so he has got it in him. I think that's what Nate needs. I think that's what Nate needs to remind himself, like. It's all well and good, like kind of pushing people away and putting me in that situation, but deep down inside, I am a good person.
Yeah,
and that's like
we get a big moment of that later on.
I was
very happy about that. I forgot about, but yeah.
Yeah, they tell him, you could fail and be embarrassed for a second, but you could also get married and have 2 wonderful children, which is true.
It's a leap of faith. You got to take the risk sometimes.
We go to the next day. So the third town waking up scene happens. And this time, What Would I Do Without You by Ray Charles is playing in the background.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
Sam walks into the restaurant, the Taste of Athens, and the staff are gathered around a laptop. I'm sorry, this is Sam's restaurant, excuse me. Sam walks into the restaurant, and the staff are gathered around a laptop. There's live footage of a large group of refugees, including several women and children on a raft, and who are hoping to claim asylum in the UK. The news is reporting on it from Portsmouth Harbor, where its passengers, dozens of refugees, hope to find sanctuary. Hundreds of supporters await their arrival, while others, such as Home Secretary Brenda Barrow, had this to say: "To anyone attempting to enter our country illegally, I say this: go home. Britain is closed." You're kidding me? Sam decides to tweet. He says, profoundly disturbed by the situation at Portsmouth Harbor. I hope Brenda Barrow will reconsider her position and help make Britain better. Simi looks over his shoulder and says, it should say, help make Britain better than this bitch.
But also, it's good. Better than this bitch, as in her, but also better than this bitch. Yeah, it's good wordplay. But
again, though,
it's just like, no.
It's Sam doing things his way first because he has to try it his way before he then tries it other people. Like, He tries the more kind of like grabbing the bull by the horns way.
But also, never get into an argument with someone on Twitter.
No.
That's pointless.
Because
especially a politician and a bigot.
Yeah. What's the thing? Pigeon. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. All it will do is shit on the board and think it's won. Yeah.
I like that.
That's a
I'm taking that.
I've never heard that.
Oh, well, okay. I thought it was a well-known thing, but yeah.
No. You could have took credit for that. We wouldn't have known any better.
No. I steal enough material as it is.
All right. Now we get a taste of Athens. Nate goes in, tries to muster up courage to speak or to ask Jade out. Instead, he goes to the bathroom. He's staring at the mirror, and you know what's coming. And this time, he does not spit on the mirror.
He goes to, doesn't he? And he stops.
Does some very good facial acting at this point as well. Because there's that moment where the darkness drops on him, and he fights it back, and it's subtle, but it's there. And then he gives like a little smile, and walks off, and he's like, "I'm okay as me," and I'm like, "Yes, Nate, you're getting it."
Yeah, that told me, yeah, it's good
because he leaves the restaurant. He says to Jade, "I'll be back. I need to do something," and then does it go straight into him making the box?
So we go back to the pitch first.
Yeah.
We go back to the pitch first because Bumbercatch is throwing up. And Ted says, "Did you just puke whole Cheerios?" He goes, "Yes, coach. I like to eat my breakfast without chewing to conserve my energy in case an impending class war breaks out." And they all go, "Yeah."
The more we find out about Bumbercatch, because he wanted to go to the European Court of Law and have a nose about as well. Like, some birds aren't real crackpot conspiracy theorists, isn't he?
Oh, man.
But then also, like, if you look, he's like licking his shirt as well later on. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
I just love how they just, again, they're all agreeing, and even Roy's in on it. So good.
Okay.
Ted says, today we're going to focus on versatility. Now, in total football, you got to constantly be asking yourself, what does this situation need right now? We'll come back to that. Do I need to drop back and replace Jan Moss on defense, or should I attack like Jamie, or do I lend Roy here a piece of gum because his breath smells like Dookie? And he looks at Roy and says, completely hypothetical. Don't worry, you're fine. And as he keeps talking, Roy just stops and does this. Smells.
He goes, it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think they have made points to Roy's breath stinking before, though. Like, just off the cuff comments. I don't. I may be wrong, but I'm sure.
I remember his niece in the Christmas episode, of course.
Possibly
terrible.
Yeah. No. But I think he's not important.
That's fun. And Ted keeps talking. And to illustrate his point, Beard has replaced Will as the kit man. Beard is fumbling water bottles on the table, juggling them, dropping them and shit.
Great physical comedy from Beard there. Also, if you look at the crowd, there's like 4 more people have come to watch as well.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Just a little
slowly but surely.
Little thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ted says, when we get out there in scrimmage, y'all are going to be swapping positions with someone else. For example, Isaac, we're going to move up to forward, and Danny, we're going to drop you back to defense. And Isaac says, I'm going to be Danny Rojas. He goes, that's right, Isaac. And Danny's going to be you. Makes sense. And then Danny has to do an impression of Isaac.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fuck him up, bruv. And Isaac has to cross himself.
Isaac goes, oh, Dios mío. You don't have to do the voices. Oh. Okay,
yeah, they all go, oh. When he tells them they can, they're like, yeah, they're happy. Oh, my God. It's so good. Roy starts handing out pieces of paper.
All this shot is locked off on just Roy and Ted as well.
It's important.
And Beard's in the background. And I'm going, well, if he swapped okay.
Yeah,
but then
it's important.
Roy hands out all these cards and they're flipping them up. And it's good.
Oh.
Yeah. And Jamie says Jamie.
Yeah.
Which is
well, we got to get to Will first because he says, Coach, did I miss anything? And it's Will dressed as Beard.
But he's got like a backing tape beard or something on.
He's like this. He's like,
let's go, baby.
That's it, baby. Let's go. So good. That's when Jamie opens his and it's his name. He says, "There's been a mistake. I got me." This is great because they have underestimated Jamie, not because they meant to. They're just used to Jamie wanting to be the guy. And Jamie has learned through Roy and training, it ain't about being the guy.
I think it's reverse psychology.
Oh, really? I just thought it was because
I would not have thought of that.
But yeah, now you say reverse psychology, it could be that,
because of what happens later when the penny drops for them. And
could be.
The whole thing is with the system is, even though it's people interchanging, it all has to come through the one person. So it's making Jamie the center of the team, building the team around Jamie. So everyone's playing it through Jamie, and Jamie's playing it to everyone else. And people are getting into the positions where Jamie can then thread the ball to them or pass the ball to them.
But at this point, they've still got Jamie up front, so it's everyone past the Jamie.
At this point, and until later on in the episode, I think Jamie thinks in his head, "Oh, they're not including me. They're leaving me out on purpose." And even with Ted saying, "Oh yeah, well, this is what you do," and then I think to a degree that's reverse psychology, because if they, it's like when they were trying to get Jamie to focus on basically just passing to Zava, and it made them worse.
Yeah.
If they get Jamie to not to think he's the center of the attention, but if they have Jamie realize that he is legitimately the center of the team,
you've got to let Jamie work it out for himself, otherwise he'll reject it. Yeah. It is reverse psychology. Yeah. Well done.
And it's wasn't it Keeley way back in, I guess, season 2, was it?
Yeah. You've got to let Jamie figure these things out for himself.
Yeah.
Or let him think that he's figuring it out himself, when in reality,
even though you put a big neon sign pointing at it.
Yeah. In reality, you're putting it on a platter right in front of him. You've just got to let him think he's the person who's cooked the meal that's on the plate.
They start scrimmaging, and Baz is actually encouraging the team from the stands. And the guys look at him. He's like, "I'm switching places, with Paul, who has unwavering positivity." Baz then commends Beard on being the kit man, and Beard blindly tosses a water ball over his shoulder to Trent. That's a nice spot. He catches it.
Smooth.
And Trent just catches it like
catch you on the flippity flop. Yeah.
Paul decides to join in and screams, "You fucking twats!" And then he says, "I don't like it. I should prefer to be me." It's not him.
No, he is the nicest one of all of them. Yeah. Unwavering positivity. But yeah.
Isaac, Danny's got a lineup for a corner kick, and Ted wants Isaac to take it. He says, "I've never taken a corner before." He goes, "Oh, I know. That's because you're put into a box, Isaac, as a 10-year-old little boy with the strength and facial hair of a grown man. The box of a center back who was never allowed to take a corner kick. Well, my friend, that box ceases to exist today." Because what do we do? I don't know. Just kick the hell out of it. Some coaching there.
Ted doesn't even know what a corner is. I'm gonna wager.
No.
Well, I think this as well is Ted overthinking the whole total football. It's literally for the outfield of play. It's not for any.
You're not gonna let a centre back.
No.
Who for cornering? No.
You've still got your kick takers who are going to be taking the kicks. It's not unless
again. Also, it could just be okay. We've tried that. It didn't work. Yeah. A lot of Ted stuff is trial and error. But he wangs that ball with some force.
And the first time we see Higgins,
we've not seen Higgins all episode, and he gets mutilated.
Yeah.
The only time we see him in the entire episode.
He's got I think he's in Rebecca's office, is he? And he's got some light jazz on. He's got his tea. He's got a little macaroon or something on the plate. And whang off the window. Again, great physical comedy as well. Hot tea. Yeah.
Cracks the window. Man.
Yeah. Oh, man, some power in it, yeah.
Back in the stands, Baz says, "Just a bit outside." That is a reference to Major League with Bob Uecker. That's Bob Uecker on the call. I think he did it. He may have done it in more than one Major League film, where it was like a wild pitch, and he goes, "Just a bit outside."
I think there's 3. Major Leagues, I think. And then
they made like 5 of them. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think so. Like 1 and 2 are good. I'm out after that. I can't.
Yeah. Terminator. Yeah.
I mean, 2 is the natural progression of 1. But then after that, you're done.
There is only 2 Terminator films. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we said.
And there's only 2 Alien films as well, right?
Oh, I like Aliens 3. It's not an Aliens film, but it's fun.
Apparently,
when you get to like Genesis and
I was going to say, apparently the new one's quite good because it's been done like Alien, so
I need to rewatch
it should
that.
be.
It's been a long while.
I usually watch Aliens pretty much once a year.
It's a great Halloween film.
It is.
Turn the lights off, close the curtains, just get really paranoid.
No, not Aliens. Aliens.
Yeah, I know, but I do them both as a double feature.
Oh, right. I like the paranoia of Alien and the broingness of Aliens.
Fair enough. Anyway,
they go back to the locker room and Sam is checking his phone. Barreau has subtweeted, not replied, didn't tag him, but subtweeted because she's obviously seen or someone's shown her his tweet. And she says footballers should leave the politics to us and just shut up and dribble.
Right.
Again, this is a thing that happens here very often with, was it Marcus Rashford?
Well, yeah. So this is a reference to that, and also the shut up and dribble bit is a reference to LeBron bringing up politics, and a Fox News reader said he should just shut up and dribble. But yeah,
it's like a Fox News reader,
pretty much, yeah. But yeah, the Marcus Rashford thing, absolutely 100%, like bang on the money there, Joe. For obviously to kind of fill you in on this one, Tom. It was it during the pandemic or was it?
Yeah, it was during the pandemic when all the schools were closed.
Yeah. Basically, they were trying to kind of take support off families who, like, obviously would get help with like getting food and things like that. Marcus Rashford, who is a footballer for Manchester United, who basically like doesn't he grew up needing all that, and he kind of like said, well, if it wasn't for me getting that support, I wouldn't be where I am now, and I would have probably not been afforded the opportunities that I ended up getting because of stuff like that. And basically a lot of idiot politicians tried to kind of like shut him down, saying you just need to focus on the field, and then eventually it kind of like
football, leave the politics to us. And I'm like, but he's speaking truth.
But he eventually become like a bit of a like he got quite a bit of like following from it, didn't he? And the end of
he
like
put his money where his mouth was and was like, all right, well, I'll feed them. It shouldn't be up to me to feed them, but I make £6 million a second playing football or whatever it is. I don't know, that's not true. But he was like, well, I'll put and feed him then. I was like, it's not up to you, mate. It's what my taxes pay for. Where's all that money going? You know what I mean? It happens a lot.
Didn't he get invited to Parliament because of what he was doing though as well? He got.
I hope he didn't go because that would have just been.
I think he did because I'm pretty sure he went to basically explain, like, not just explain why he did it, but also ask why
he had to.
Yeah, but not like as in why he had to. Ask, well, if I've had to step in and do this, why do you think it's acceptable to do this?
Yeah.
And didn't he actually reverse it in the end because of it?
Yeah, they did, but but then it was contracted out to Tory donors, and kids were getting like half a banana and 2 bits of bread and it was shocking because
horrifying.
They'd actually like just pocketed loads of the money because they're all greedy. Didn't one of the, I think someone who had one of the footballers who had a hotel in Manchester opened it up to people as well during COVID and stuff. Like, as much as I don't know much about football people, a lot of them come from quite poor backgrounds, and they know what it's like to be poor and not knowing where your next meal's coming from. And yeah, okay, they drive fancy cars and whatnot, but that's just the trappings of wealth or what have you. But when push comes to shove, they know which side their bread's buttered on. Like they,
especially like a lot of these, as you say, a lot of these players come from like working class backgrounds, and like the whole thing with Roy, where he's like saying like, that's where I grew up there, like this is where I learned. That's not a far cry from what a lot of these like players actually go through, and it's only that they get the chance to kind of join an academy or join a sports club at school that they end up getting the opportunity to join an academy for a football team. And it's very few and far between, sadly, that there's people like Marcus Rashford who will stand up for what's right and will use the wealth for good. But you are seeing that a lot more footballers are following his example that he's set, which is great to see. Even like when I used to work during the pandemic in a supermarket, there was a Everton player who used to come to the shop I worked in, usually just buy like a case of soft drinks and just a few like packets of crisps, things like that, and basically go and join like this group who were giving out like soup and sandwiches to homeless people. And you'd do that on like a Wednesday night. You'd have training at like 6 a.m. You'd be getting to the shop about 9 p.m. and be there till like 11, and just like, as I say, giving out soft drinks, soup, coffee, tea, sandwiches to homeless people. And it's like it's something that thankfully there are football, like I do think Sam's based on a lot of these footballers like that who are like sort of, they know right from wrong. They're not just materialistic. Yeah, absolutely.
But it is, it is. I didn't know about the LeBron thing because I only just looked up that he was a basketball man.
Yeah, well, a lot of wackadoodle people in my country consider him the GOAT, and we all know Michael Jordan's the GOAT, so they need to get out of here with that nonsense. So.
I mean,
that
is true. That is
a
true.
lot of delusional people out there. So Trent is talking to Ted in the office, and he's like, I just want to make sure I have this right. You're going to change tactics at this stage in the season, replace it with a totally new method that the boys are clearly struggling to understand, and you think this is a good idea. Ted says, well, Trent, the way I see it, it's kind of like taking a hike with Robert Frost. Could go either way.
So nod to The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost as well, but yeah.
Yep.
Just before we move on as well, remember the line, shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
It will come back to haunt us later on.
Yep. Trent looks down to Beard, but it's not Beard, it's Will dressed as Beard with his feet kicked up with a book in his hand, and he just gives him a nod,
It's about the Beard that just walks in and goes, get the fuck out my chair.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Living the gimmick, brother.
Once again, it's a morning. This is number 4 on the mornings in this show, in this episode. Jade sees something. What's that?
They can't be consecutive days.
I think it might be because it's all
the way they're
up.
playing it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, because it's building up that they're playing Arsenal on the Sunday.
There you go.
So
this is a lunatic tactic then. Yeah.
So
okay.
Oh God, yeah, it's
yeah.
madness.
Arrive on a Monday and then be like, okay, it makes way more sense the way everyone's so angry now. Yeah.
Well, Jade sees something. She walks out of the restaurant, and we don't see what she sees, but it hit me later. She was looking for Nate to walk by, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, he's been walking past there every day, peering through. It's
well, I think
10
that's
o'clock.
the thing.
By.
Like they're both quite like awkward people. Like
I think she's quite self-confident, or she knows she can get one over Nate, and that's something.
I don't know. I think the whole kind of like being a bit of a smart ass is like a defense mechanism more than
possibly
anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
I just assume
we don't know how long this has been going on for as well. Nate walking past that window. Because we don't even know where that...
You've got to assume it's from when they shared the dessert. And in her
yeah,
head,
okay.
like, he's walking past and he's waving at her and he's looking in the restaurant and all that. And he's coming to say hello. And in her head, she's like, why hasn't he asked me out yet?
Yeah.
Like that's what it is, let's be honest.
We literally essentially had a date.
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume there was a charging dock out there and she was plugging in. She's a Robo Jade. I'm sorry.
Oh, shush.
It got over so well in that episode.
Big fan of the manager, but not Jade. Right, okay.
Yes, I love Derek. Derek's great.
Cocaine Derek, but
Derek comes out. Oh, yeah.
Derek's just massive cocaine energy. Sorry.
He is all the time. All the time.
Joe, have you seen the actor from that on 8 out of 10 Cats, by the way?
Oh, I have. Yes, he's quite funny, actually. Yeah.
He's So
yeah.
His
I never put the two together.
Literally, I didn't until I've just looked at his IMDb. I was like, where the hell have I seen him before? Because I know his face.
Yeah.
And then it was, I saw him listed on that, and then I was like, oh, it's the guy with the shit inventions.
Yeah, I watched one the other day where he, those tubes that you turn upside down and they go. He had a load of them sellotaped together, and it was the most horrific Hellraiser style noise I've ever heard. Yeah.
The one I remembered was the vibrating scale where you can't tell how much you weigh because it's vibrating.
Yeah. If you hadn't have told me that, I never would have put those two together.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I'll send you a video of that after we've recorded, Tom, so you can see what I'm talking about. Because it's silly fun.
I stand with Derek. I stand with Cocaine Derek. So back on the pitch, Ted's coaching up the team. He says, today we're talking about number 3, awareness. You play total football, you got to know what your teammates are doing at all times. Constant movement requires a constant concentration. So Sam makes a run through the center. Y'all got to shift, right? And if Danny moves back on defense, what does that mean? Colin says, hell is frozen over. So I'm assuming this is a joke, Jay, because Danny, like Jamie, is a striker, right? He's the guy up front. Yeah. Yeah.
So every now and again, you'll get managers like Gareth Southgate who are deluded fools who think, let's get our striker back to defend. And every now and again, you'll get players who, even though they're told to go back and defend, still won't go back and defend. So it's probably just like they've asked Danny to go back and defend every now and again, and Danny's like, why would they do that, with striker?
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. And Ted says, no.
What if they were playing like the formation they were playing? Like, technically, the strikers should never cross like the halfway line, to my understanding, unless it's a dire situation. You know what I mean?
In the way that Richmond were playing, you'd want Danny and or Jamie to kind of be stood by the halfway line most of the time,
just in case they clear it and it gets to them, and then they've got
to be able to get on the counter attack. Yeah.
See, I'm learning.
You are.
I learned a lot from watching the Wrestlers versus Rappers match, to be honest.
You did.
Yeah. I said lots of things like "side on" and no, that's not right, is it? Square on. Yeah, I said
man on.
Yeah,
man on.
I did. That's another one. Yeah, I said that as well. Anyway,
so Ted says no. It means you got to move up and support Danny's choice. He says, any questions so far? And Jamie says, yeah. What's with the red string? Great question. In Japanese culture, they have a myth.
He's just holding it in his hand. I'm like, yeah. What is with the red string? Because it hasn't been revealed.
They believe that all soulmates are connected by an invisible red string, and those strings are attached to each other's little fingers. Jamie says, all right, then why is it tied around our nether regions? There's certain words we'll try not to say.
Yeah.
Ted says, yeah, well, that was Roy's idea, but I'm pretty sure.
Roy just goes,
He's just giggling to himself like a little kid.
This is Roy's idea. Like,
You thought the idea
Vince gone,
behind it.
yeah.
Day 1 we're doing this, day 2 we're doing it. How do we show awareness? And Roy's like, rope around their genitals.
Pretty sure the
"Okay,
thought
we'll give it a
behind it
whirl."
is that it's nearly impossible to not be fully aware of what your teammate's doing when y'all got a rope tied around your ding dong. Am I right about that, Roy? Yeah, something like that. And then Beard says, Dick's on 3. As the play begins, Roy's snickering, giggling, and he's doing it so much they both just look at him like, looking at him. That continues too. It's so good. Center field by John Fogerty is playing.
This is Ted Lasso at his stupidest, because we get this montage of them just hurting each other's genitals.
There was a moment, when I saw this the first time, there was a moment where I thought, this might be a little too much even for me for this show. Like,
it's so silly.
It is, yeah. But, John Fogerty's playing. I can't be upset about that. So Paul has some red string that Will gave him, and he goes up there to basically tell Bass and Jeremy, and they're like, no. You see, he's offering it around.
He's asking everyone around him.
Yeah. So good. And by the way, to your point, Joe, earlier, the number of people this time has increased as well.
Increased again, yeah. There's more and more of them. Like, it's again, I think they've just told other people from the pub.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can come to Richmond and watch the training. And they go, all right, well, I've got nothing else on tomorrow. And then you're just watching absolute lunacy happen. You're watching men with ropes tied around the ding-dongs, like tripping each other over.
Well,
like
there's a bit later on in the episode where it shows that it actually is paying off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the important thing. Obviously, there is all the lunacy that's going on, but the fact that they've got that little groundswell of people who are coming to training sessions and checking it out, and then again, it's all down to Ted saying, "Come see what we're all about."
Yeah.
Like,
it's your team, team as much as it is mine.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, this may be a waste of time, Jay, but I'd be curious if this came from anywhere in football. Had they heard about this? Do you know what I mean? Is there an urban legend floating around?
Not wrapping around the old genitals, I don't think. But
I think there's a waist one, isn't there?
I think there is one where you have like string around your waist, and it's like kind of to keep within like
passing distance.
A specific distance of one another, and obviously, every now and again, like there'll be stuff where players are like overlap and sort of shift roles like sideways. It's one of those things you don't see often, but I think it's more with the kind of like tying around the waist. It's more like when they're like younger.
I was going to say, do you reckon, like, because Roy went to Sunderland at a very young age and he was made to do this and he's remembered it and he's gone, penises for Jamie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. No, I think it is something that they do usually, like with like younger kids when they're playing, they'll have it tied like around each other's waist to kind of keep like in the zones and stuff like that. So as if to say, if you drift this far away from that player, or if that player's going one way, make sure you're kind of shifting into where they need to be. Yeah.
I also like the fact that when Jamie goes on a break, Danny's running behind him, holding all the rope and literally running alongside him. And Ted's like, give him some space, Danny. No. I don't want to do that.
I'm too scared to.
I'm too scared.
Because there's a bit where Colin is like, Jan just starts going. And Colin, you can see Colin go, he realizes what's about to happen, so he runs to keep up with him.
He's like, Jan, slow down.
Jan, who has no idea.
But it's just like, it's just that right level of silliness. Of like, if it wasn't people that we didn't know, but we know these characters, even like in a a roundabout way. If it was just random players, it wouldn't have been as funny. But because we know them, it just made it better. It just, I was a bit like, it is a bit silly, but also
it's Roy being a sadist.
Yeah, after the big emotional outpouring of last episode, sorry, I think you just needed a bit of brevity, a bit of just all the training so far has been silly. Like,
that's fair.
It's not a way to train people to play like total football. It's how I would train a football team.
Yeah, that's well, the bad part happens. And look, ladies, if you're curious if seeing things happen like guys getting kicked in the crotch and stuff, if you're curious if things like this make a man wince, even though it's entertainment, the answer is yes. Because when I watched this, I was like, oh my God, like it's just, the rope gets yanked off of Jamie and everybody stops.
Everyone stops.
It's the way that like Phil Dunster acting though is like he's acting like he's been stabbed or something. Like
but like also not sure if it's fallen off or not.
Yeah, he's like trembling as he checks. And he goes, "I'm okay."
And then he shows Danny as well. And Danny's like,
you see when they're all waiting as Jamie's checking, Roy is smiling. And then when Jamie says when Jamie says I'm okay, when Jamie says I'm okay, Roy's frowning again that quickly. Like,
well, as we find out later on, Roy's got more plans for Jamie's penis.
And then obviously there's the big slapstick bit where Ted like runs on the field.
Oh yeah. I was waiting for that, to be honest. Even first time watching it, I was like, someone's going to run through someone else. Yeah.
And he does, of course. And you can hear Roy. He's snickering the whole time when this happens.
It's funny. Yeah. Man gets hit in football. A man gets hit in groin with football. Give that man the $2,000 right now. Yeah.
So back to the locker room. Barreau has directly responded to Sam this time, saying he should worry less about the safety of our nation and worry more about being a mediocre player on a mediocre team. He responds with, "I'd rather be a mediocre footballer than a world-class bigot."
But he stops and he's like, I thought there was a moment where he's going to go, right, that's enough of that. Like, just walk away. Just walk away. Because you're not going to win.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well, though, isn't it? Like, obviously Sam kind of taking the advice he was given earlier in the episode, saying, "Oh, you should just attack her," and it's never a good idea.
No, but also
rise up.
Yeah, fight forward.
Yeah,
it just annoyed me this as well.
Yeah,
like the safety of our nation. What, a load of women and children? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Maybe if we didn't blow them up all the time, then they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have to come to our, to another country. Maybe they were quite happy where they were, but because there's oil there, we have decided to blow. Anyway, sorry. I said I wasn't going to go off.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
I there was a moment where I was like, Sam, put the phone down. And then he sends it back and he like gives a little smile, like, yeah, got him. And I'm like, mate, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
As we've already established. I also have just noticed as well, she's called, is it what, Brenda Bardeau?
Barreau.
Brenda Barreau, which is is an alliterative name, very much like Priti Patel. Just saying.
So Nate is putting together a box. It's very nice. Got a really nice bow on it. When you open it up, it's cutouts of him and Jade. He's asking to go out with him. We are on to morning 5 again. The town is waking up. This town, I'm telling you. Keeley and Jack meet for coffee, and she tells Keeley that she's gotten her something, and she won't let her finish. She goes, "I don't want it." She's finally letting her know. Jack says, "I get it. I can be a bit much. I'll try not to do as much next time. But actually, I got you a croissant." And you're like, "Oh, well, it's fine. It's a good gag." And then Keeley takes a bite, and what we assume is a really expensive ring is in her mouth, and she gives it back to her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Look, if there's any ladies out there who would like to buy me stuff, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, mate.
The wife will be okay with that. She doesn't have to know.
I'd like my shins lengthened. If anyone wants to pay for that.
My!
I just want to be the man that I've tried getting in the Guinness Book of Records. I want to be the man with the longest shins. No, it's like it never occurred to me the first time watching this. I was like, oh, she's being quite romantic, and it's only knowing what I know. I'm like, oh mate, this is way too much. You're not even going out that long. This is over 5 days, 4 days.
Yeah, as
way
I said,
too much, mate.
As I said earlier, like at the start of the episode, though, like at first it starts off as a nice gesture, and then the more it goes on, the more like you get uncomfortable because you can see Keeley's uncomfortable with it.
Yeah,
and obviously,
she
like
knows
Keeley,
what it is now.
Yeah, and Rebecca's kind of like pointed it out to her as well, and she now, again, like there's a lot of times within the whole show as in general where Keeley and Rebecca will kind of like point something out to the other, and the other will kind of have like that moment of clarity. And this is one of them where Rebecca's pointed this out to Keeley, and Keeley's had that moment of clarity and gone, "Oh yeah, so I see what you mean."
Similar
and then obviously
to Jamie and your cloche before, but without all the subterfuge. Yeah, it's just pointing it out to someone, and then they'll go, "Okay."
Yeah,
and then they'll realize, yeah,
absolutely.
You know, the comparisons like with Rupert and everything, to me, it's very much like the MCU sometimes with this show. Like, you could enjoy any episode by itself. I don't think that it's so tied that you can't enjoy an episode. But if you've watched all the films in that Infinity Gauntlet, you know, then you can appreciate so much more when little stuff happens.
We're currently rewatching them because Harvey's never seen them all the way through, so we're watching them in timeline order.
That's great.
And there is little bits where she's going, "Oh, that makes more sense now."
Yeah.
You know, it's all there.
It's
not on this level by any stretch of the imagination, but
it's one of those things, isn't it? When you've got more context into the actual situation, you can, it's easier to kind of spot things that you weren't necessarily looking for the first time you saw it.
Yeah, in comic books, it was always Ed's note, see episode 209 of Whereas with this, it's just like go back to episode 3, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's some pretty deep callbacks in this episode, to be fair.
Yeah, there is. Nate is bringing the box to Jade, but he trips. Of course he does.
Nearly falls off.
It's the fact as well, like that. Like she's like stood in the doorway and she sees him. She's like beaming to see him.
Yeah,
and he's walking with like a purpose, and then the most Nate thing to happen happens.
Because in TV and movies, when people are carrying something, when they fall, they just do that. Like, I don't know if I've ever just chucked anything in the air. I just fall with it. Do you know what I mean? But it's TV, man.
You're not living in a Hallmark movie, though, are you?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. I will say, when he fell over, it looked like he was wearing a really bad syrup. Like his wig thing, like the label was available at the back, I think.
I thought that was his actual hair, then he just died.
Could be. It just looked. It could have been a weird stunt man. I don't know. It just looked really weird. Just me.
I mean, knowing that Nick Mohammed has done some ludicrous bumps in Taskmaster, I reckon he's like cruising, does his own stunts.
I also thought when he walked, I for a brief moment when he was going to cross that road, I had visions of Meet Joe Black, and he was just going to get banged between cars for about 3 minutes.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, not just me then. Okay.
No,
I didn't go there.
I'm thinking, wait, did he get hit by a car? I couldn't remember.
To be honest, I thought for some reason in my head, I thought that he was going to get splashed with a puddle. Even watching it back this time, I thought he's probably going to get splashed with a puddle here, and it's going to get ruined.
Okay. Okay.
But then what actually happened?
One of the few times our brains have unsynchronized, Jay.
Sorry,
yeah, go back and watch. Go back and watch that pratfall, and he just right above it, right over his head, like with the box.
Yeah, so gets absolutely demolished.
Oh yeah, but he finally gets up the courage to ask her. And he asks her, and she says yes. And then she asks if there's anything alive in the box.
It's a good. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's the way she's like, okay, I don't believe
I
it.
was going to bring you a guinea pig. This isn't Fleabag.
That's really good.
Again, like this is quite like a good little metaphor to Nate overthinking everything again. Like, he literally has made this really sentimental idea of doing the box to ask her for dinner. That's been destroyed, and then he's just got up and gone, oh, fuck it. Will you go on a date with me?
Yeah. And she goes,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Not even without a moment's hesitation. She's waited for this. Like,
yeah. Again,
question. Do you reckon if he'd have given her the box, she'd have said yeah?
I think she would have said
Yeah.
yeah.
I think so.
She would have probably took the piss out of him, though.
Oh, forever, yeah.
Because, like, again, it's just the way she is with him.
Yeah, no, it was just one of those things. But again, it's just Nate realizing that what worked for his father doesn't work for him. He isn't his father. He's his own person.
Yeah, that's good. So we hear "Doomed" by Moses Sumney as Sam has brought a box of cutlery to the restaurant. That's a callback to earlier. And then I'm glad they didn't give us the whole thing. It's one sign after another. It's like real life when you walk into something. That usually doesn't hit you. You just, wait a minute. Your mind is perceiving one thing at a time, and he realizes the entire restaurant.
Hyper-focusing, where you notice things one at a time, because there's so much stuff going on that you can't. It's why police descriptions are never that accurate, because you're not focusing on the entire thing. You're focusing on one specific thing at a time.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
But he sees the restaurant has been not destroyed, but vandalized big time.
It's been destroyed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything is smashed.
It's been wrecked, yeah.
And I, at this point, I was like, oh, I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on the wall it says,
shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble. Freaking nuts.
Smashed all those nice little mirrored above the booths and stuff. The little surround he had of those nice mirrors, that would have been quite a nice thing. Smashed all that.
The sign as well.
Yes. The Ola's sign. And as Simmy's just sitting there like broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were trying not to get too crazy political, but it's our show, so I don't care. When you are a douchebag and mindless douchebags follow your lead, this is what happens. Like, when you go off on something, they're going to rally behind you because they're mindless douchebags. So of course, this is what's on the wall in the restaurant.
Yeah.
There was honestly a moment before it panned round where I was expecting it to be something like "Go Back Home" or like NF.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a racist or racial thing.
Yeah, but no, it was just so much more on the nose. And again, this was the moment I had to pause it and just go and have a walk to calm my. Even though I know it's not real.
Yeah, it's a very hard to watch.
Home. It really hits home.
It's real enough.
It's yeah, it's really.
Yeah, it's real enough.
I'm crying, you got it.
Back in the office, Trent's making notes, and the guys in unison are kicking and tossing a water bottle into Will's holder. It was awesome.
It's the Great Escape. It's how they get rid of the sand in the Great Escape.
Yep.
Yeah.
How they do all the stuff. But it's a beautiful one shot as well. Like,
it is, yeah.
It's so good. I think also when Nate's doing when Beard's doing his plan, I think that the music in the background then is the plan music from the Great Escape as well. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be. It felt familiar, but I haven't watched the Great Escape since Christmas because it's a Christmas film. But everyone recognizes that bit of music, and it's just a really good. It's so again, they must be CGI bottles, or they rehearsed that to Billio.
I think they've
it's good.
rehearsed the shit out of that.
Yeah,
I'd like to
but
think
it's
so, too.
It's so good. I think they did as well because why would you spend money CGI in a bottle?
Because
Just like,
because
lads,
also
do it
there's so many things in this episode with the bottles as well. Like they
Yeah.
were doing the throwing
doing
and
the
stuff
juggling,
like that. And obviously this, and it's just like, yeah, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Like,
but it's just a great bit. Like, it shows that they're all working in harmony. They're all working in unison together.
Mhm.
It's just
Well,
not there yet.
This is straight after Trent questions Ted what the fourth thing is, isn't it?
Well, he's wrote in his book, hasn't he? He's wrote 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, and then 4 ... question mark. And I was like,
Mhm.
it's reverse underpant gnomes. But
And yeah, Roy's at the grease board. This is wonderful. I'm giving this a lot of thought. Next time we do this drill, we tie multiple guys to one guys. Yeah.
yeah. He's so happy. You know that guy in the middle is Jamie. He's like,
100%.
Of course.
His Thanos is coming off one way or another.
I think that as well, though, part of this is Roy trying to kind of like hammer home that Jamie needs to be in the middle.
I just thought he was just trying to punish Jamie.
Well, no, it's probably both. Let's be honest, but I think part of it is that Jamie's the key.
Yeah,
like he's the catalyst of the whole thing, and they need to build that team around him. And I think that's, even though it's definitely part of Roy just trying to get Jamie to get his knob ripped off. It's also like Jamie needs to be like in that role.
Just to refer back to an earlier point, it's from Escape to Victory, that piece of music, not The Great Escape, which is
actually it is The Great Escape.
Yeah,
it is a football film.
I knew I recognized it, and I had to look it up, but yeah,
it is The Great Escape.
No, it's Escape to Victory. No, when they're doing the bottles thing. It's Great Escape.
Great Escape. I see what you're talking about.
Beard's doing his speech. It's Escape to Victory.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, man. I didn't even pick up on that. That's good. That's good. I didn't pick up on that.
Again, Ted Lasso's background music. It's always there for a reason.
It's true. It's true. And Beard says that was a one-shot deal, Roy. Ted says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure we cooked it. I'm pretty sure we cooked that whole bird already, Coach." And Roy goes, shame. And he just leaves it at that. This is where Trent is. He comes out asking about number 4. He says, "You haven't said what it is, but you know." He goes, "I don't actually. What about you, Coach?" Beard says, "I'm agnostic." Roy, "I don't fucking know." Number 4 has yet to reveal itself. So there is no number 4. Like the man once said, sometimes you got to leave space to let God walk into the room. So number 4 is God. Oh, no, I don't think so. Coach, I'm an atheist. Roy, I fucking hope not. That little exchange, rapid fire.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is like, there's no Diamond Dogs this season. So they had to replace the Diamond Dogs with just these bits. Like, of just that quick fire, bam, 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 around the room stuff. And it's good. And Trent is a perfect fit. We get one of my best Trent moments coming up in a bit. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Trent's just great in this episode. Like he doesn't have many lines, but when he does, he hits it up.
He's always just there. And if you look at him, his facial expressions and stuff are just so pure and beautiful.
I was gonna say there's a lot of good stuff with him, as we mentioned with Barbara and with Roy in this episode, where it's all just mannerisms. It's not really actual like it's nothing to do with anything they say. It's just what the body language is giving off.
You only pick that up on multiple viewings because you're watching the main dialogue and there's stuff in the background that you're not paying attention to. But because we're sad nerds,
This is where Sam busts in, and it's
mate,
it's awesome. What a great scene.
It's both heartbreaking and powerful.
Yeah, he almost bulldozes Isaac, and he says, "I'll tell you."
What's your problem, bro?
Yeah.
Well, Isaac says you're 10 minutes late for training. We're gonna have to fine you.
Yep.
Which Isaac wouldn't have the authority to do that, but he's probably...
No, but it's like in
probably-
the locker room fine, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
he had his throne at Christmas, didn't he? You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
they've not
It's
done it
wrestling
since.
court.
You know that he's the authority of the locker room. Like, and it probably was just meant in jest. You know, like in 10 minutes later, you know, it's a £500 fine which we'll donate to, I don't know, dogs who want to learn the piano charity. You know what I mean?
Or
like, it'll be
it's probably like a bit of money towards the Christmas night out or something, isn't it?
yeah, it'll be something. Like it's I think it's meant as an off the cuff comment. But Jesus Christ, Sam then.
Yeah,
Like,
it's tough to watch. He's
I'm hoping you've got all this.
the world is full of evil people who do shitty things, but I can't deal with that because I have to kick a little ball around, which those same people love me for. That is until I fuck up or I miss a penalty or I decide to fight back, and they're just gonna want to shit me back to wherever I fucking came from. And that's where his dad, played by Nonzo Anzoe, as Ola Obasanya.
Man. What a
He's great.
epitome of a human man this man is. Like, no, man.
When Sam breaks down and hugs him, I got emotional. I couldn't help it.
It's not that. It's just that he stood there and he goes, Sam! And Sam turns around and he's like, oh, Christ, my dad's here. I've just had a big outburst and I've done a swear. And he just runs over and hugs him. And I was like, my heart. Because I know, we know how much Sam's family means to Sam.
Yeah.
But his dad especially. And everyone else in the locker room just sort of stands and goes, okay. But that speech is one of those things that really annoys me about football in general as well. Is that, like, you know, if a I don't know what the correct word is, if a player of colour, a person of colour misses a penalty, they're going to get lambasted for it.
Well,
if they score it, it's the best thing in the world. But if you're Gareth Southgate and you miss a penalty, you can go on to make Pizza Hut adverts and make light of it. Like, it's
a reference, isn't it, as well, to when England lost the Euro 2020 final on penalties.
I don't know.
And 3 black players missed and got horrifically racially abused for it.
Of course they did.
Because, like Marcus Rashford was one, Bukayo Saka, and I forget the third one. They all got really badly racially abused. Like, on the other side of that, there was a lot of people who kind of come around them and, like, supported them. But sadly, there was a lot of idiots.
I'm assuming a lot of this is through Twitter or stuff where it's anonymous.
Well, there was the Marcus Rashford mural that was made from literally what we were talking about earlier, a year before, to kind of commemorate him.
Oh, shit, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, commemorate, like, all the great work he did for schools, and then as soon as he missed a penalty, he got racial slurs written on this mural, and it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with people? But I know Jason Sudeikis in particular was very supportive of them. He went to a film premiere the next day, and he had the T-shirt with the 3 players who missed the penalties, who got all that abuse's names on the shirt, like the Beatles shirt with, like, the John and Paul.
We all know the one.
Yeah, but it was their names, and it was like, that's fucking awesome. Well done, Jason.
Yeah, good lad.
It's
sport. At the end of the day, people make mistakes. Everyone, like, you know.
Yeah, but that's definitely, like, tied into.
I was just weird that my one memory is that Gareth Southgate missed a penalty that lost us the world.
And he got a sponsorship.
He got a Pizza Hut deal out of it, and got to make jokes about him missing the penalty. And yet these lads are getting, like, abuse and stuff. It's just not right, is it? You know.
We've been talking about our ideas for a spinoff show. As soon as the character of Sam Obasanya is done with the sport, he is becoming an ambassador, a goodwill ambassador. He's doing outreach. He's promoting charity work. This guy's going to become a model. He's already a model citizen.
I want to see Sam fall into a pit that contains fire, wind, earth, heart, and water, and he becomes the new Captain Planet.
Yeah. Oh,
make it happen.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna say you wanted to basically just see the bear, but with Sam's restaurant.
I would watch the fuck out of that as well, to be honest. Sam just pops in. Is everything okay? Yes,
oh,
cousin.
that's
Yes, chef.
lovely. Yes, chef. That's lovely.
No,
So
but,
they end up.
it's just like this must be a constant frustration for people as well.
Mhm.
Not to bang on about it, but it is a sport.
Yeah.
It's not the be all and end all of your life. Like I'm not a fan of it, but if my favorite wrestling person loses, I don't go around and like, you know what I mean? Like it's not real. You know what I mean? It's sport. Like who cares? At the end of the day,
one of the criticisms that Jordan got quite a bit during his career was the fact that he was one of the few athletes that didn't come out and speak up on issues. He didn't speak up, like the Sam thing that we're seeing. He didn't do it and he would get grief for that. And he's like, "I'm a basketball player. Why would they need me for that? I just want to play the game. I'm not here for
you're
that."
damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
again,
let's move on to something
look
more
what happened
fun.
to LeBron when he did. Got told to shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
There we go.
They go to the weight room and Ola asks Sam if he knows how long it will take to reopen. Sam doesn't want to because they're just going to do it again. And he says, "Do it for yourself and do it for your friend Simi and those people who want a taste of home when they're away." He says, "If you really want to piss off the people who did this, forgive them." Big whoop. And he does the sound effect. It's really good. And that's when he says,
"This man is so good."
He's
Sam's
awesome.
dad's legit like one of my favorite characters in the entire show.
Yeah.
Don't fight back, fight forward.
Fight forward. That's it. And then he rubs his ear.
That's
which is episode 1 or 2 or 3 in the first season.
One of the first episodes, yeah.
Yeah. He would say his dad would comfort him by just rubbing his earlobe. I see, I'm crying. But yeah, it's just a lovely little bit. And they're just having this moment. And you see Ted look through the window and he's like, "I don't want to interrupt what is obviously a moment." Like, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm trying to get penises in ropes here, lads.
Sam says, "Do you think I should invest in security cameras?" And Ola says, "Hell yes, and gates. Please tell me you have insurance."
And gates.
He says, "I have insurance." He goes, "Thank God, otherwise your mother would have killed me." And that's when Ted comes in. He asks, he offers for Sam to sit out, and Ola tells him, no, he's going in. No. He's going.
He's playing.
And he tells Ola he almost wore that exact same thing today. This is a good joke. And then he offers, it's good.
But this bit where they stand up and face each other, and you realize that Ola is about 9 foot tall.
He's a gigantic
He's a
man.
Giant, huge. He'd been a tremendous wrestler. Yeah. But
he offers him American candy.
It's Ted's disarming technique again.
Yeah.
Like he's heard a lot of Sam's. I know Sam thinks a lot about his father, and like, so I'll say the same thing. You're a funny man. I'm like, yes, he's got him straight on the hook.
Well, I think as well, like there's the other kind of way of looking at it as well is that like Ted's sort of Sam's father figure in Richmond.
Proxy.
Yeah. Like he's kind of like stepped into that role because obviously Sam's far away from home. He doesn't see Ola that often. And Ola obviously massively appreciates that.
Yeah. It's just a lovely thing. Let's go and have some. Do you like American candy? Yes, I do. With the bad sugar. High fructose corn syrup. Yeah, I can't say that, so I just call it bad sugar.
Yeah, a lot of words.
It's just Ted doing Ted shit, but it's so like that scene is, I think, of all of the all of the stuff in the show, I think just Sam and his dad sitting there having that moment is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
just because like it's just him going. It's the same as the the tape across the thing, like, but this is him going. You're right. But you don't need to go about it that way.
Yeah,
it's just a very lovely, positive thing.
I think as well, like I feel like in earlier seasons of this, that Sam walking into the restaurant would have ended the episode. I think it's nice that, obviously, because it's a weekly show when it first come out, it's nice that instead of having a week to be angry about this, we got like that nice surprise support that Sam got, where it was like his dad coming, he kind of made everything better.
Yeah, he gave him a big hug, and like, yeah, there's a lot of emotion in that hug. But yeah, you better go and get ready then, Sam.
Yeah. By the way, the bit where Keeley goes in her office and sees all those daisies, I feel like we missed that somewhere.
Oh, and that's
that was well earlier.
But it's awful.
I've got the notes. I've got notes somewhere, but somehow I've lost them.
It was around the same. It was around the same time as when Nate was about to spit on the mirror.
Oh, is it that far back? But yeah, it's an awful bit because you've took something that someone told you was an off-the-cuff comment of, oh yeah, I like daisies, and you've perverted it to the nth degree.
Again, it's like
nobody wants to know. I've got to move all. It's like when that goat was in there, that lamb was pooing everywhere in there.
That was the bit that made me feel really uncomfortable because it was like something that she'd said in an offhanded comment. Oh yeah, I really like them, and then she's filled her office with them, and what she thinks is like a romantic gesture, but also it's like it's to the point where she stops liking them and stops enjoying them.
Yeah, I love kebabs, but if I came home and my house was full of kebabs, I'd be raging. No, I can't eat them all. Can't eat them all before they go off.
I'd love the Homer Simpson getting fed the donuts thing, but with kebabs.
Oh yeah, I'm into that.
I could get behind that. Speaking of which, Joe, it was National Kebab Day on Friday, just gone, and I didn't get a kebab, and I feel like a fraud.
No, I didn't have one either. I feel like I got pizza. I feel like I think I let the side down, lads. Sorry, I'll have to eat twice as many kebabs now in future.
I'm gonna have to.
But no, it is just that thing of she's like Jack sees that as romantic. I see that as mental.
Well, as I say, it's off-putting of something. Makes something that you like off-putting. It's like when you say to someone who like it's like when you say to someone like, oh yeah, like I really like this band, and then because that's all you've got in common, then they'll just play that band on fucking loop. I had that with someone I worked with where I literally like said to like, we basically found out we both liked the band, and then they put it on for the entire shift. This band.
There's not that many Shakademus and Pliers songs though, Jay.
I know, but that just like put that many on loop. It's just
no. Again,
I hate them now.
What some people think is romantic, I see as absolutely mental. And I watch a lot of Hallmark films. You know what I mean?
That's true. You do watch a lot of them. It's almost like you've got a podcast dedicated to it, mate.
Let's not go on about that. We're not here for that. Anyway.
So it's game day. This is day number 6 of the open up. The city's opening up. The town's opening up. And Rebecca and Keeley are talking up in the press box is what I'm calling it. Rebecca says, the beginning, Rupert brought me so many tulips for so long, his florist was able to buy a castle. She goes, what? I mean, it was in Scunthorpe, but still.
Scunthorpe. If you don't know
I'm guessing that's not a good area of town.
Place to have a castle.
Who put the S in Scunthorpe?
There you go.
I can appreciate that.
There you go.
Keeley says, well, I'm taking Jack out tonight. If she tries to pay, then I will give her. You'll give her what? Keeley says, just the tip. They both chuckle.
Reference to the pegging episode.
We get a funny, awkward exchange between Rebecca and Ola, who obviously knows about her and Sam.
It's the way that obviously Keeley knows, but Higgins hasn't got a fucking clue.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah, he's just doing this, and then Keeley has to jump up and do the go rich. He's like, yeah, he doesn't know what to do with himself. The game is on, and the guys are having a tough time Nothing's clicking. Arsenal goes up 3-0. The Crown Anchor, people are leaving, and it's practically empty already. May says it's over. We're going to get relegated again. I'm going to have to go back to filling the sausages with cardboard.
So
Paul
this
says,
is the bit where like they all go, don't worry about it. Like trust the process.
Trust the process. They've seen it.
Give us some time.
Yeah.
They've seen.
Yeah.
You know what?
There are 14 castles in Scunthorpe apparently.
I don't know why that surprised me. I don't know what Scunthorpe is. Where is it in London or England?
It's not in London.
It's
a
hole in the earth.
Lincolnshire, I think. But yeah.
Did you find out we put the S in it though, mate?
I think it's the same people that put the spring in Springfield.
I mean, like literally, Scunthorpe is pretty much just a mine. So how the fuck has got that many castles? I don't know.
Again, I don't want to get bogged down in, but a lot of them look very modern, shall we say? I don't think they're like medieval castles or history we trip over in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
with Baz, Jeremy, and Paul, you've included these three guys in your practices. Now, instead of yelling at "what the F are you doing" at a TV that can't hear you, they're actually seeing the inner workings of how practice is, and they're understanding. Well, this isn't what we thought. There's more mechanics to it. Like, it's a great idea.
It's knowing what the system is that they're trying to work in, believing in that system, and knowing that you might not get immediate results, but once that penny drops, you're going to see a change.
Yeah.
And again, like the best example I can give of it from recent memory was with Newcastle, where they changed managers. It would have been about 2 months into the season, and the football they were playing was fucking dreadful when they changed. And then the new manager, who still is the manager, Eddie Howe, basically changed the system, and he changed the system, he changed the style of play, he changed the whole mentality of the team, and you'd only notice little changes at first. Like, I think he went from, we'd like lost something like 6 or 7 games straight, and then he went and with this new system drew, I want to say, like 8 or 9 games straight, which wasn't an amazing change, but it was a noticeable one, because we went from losing to drawing. And then by the time that we started winning games, then we didn't stop. And that was like a 4-month period. That wasn't like overnight, but you could see each week, oh yeah, they're playing a bit more positive. They're playing it with a bit more.
A while to slot it in, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you can get even the slightest inkling of what the team are trying to do, and see that, give this a couple of weeks, a couple of months, they're going to be world beaters, then you're going to react like these guys are. And with them being privy to the training and being brought, almost like they're being brought into the inner circle of the club, they feel that little bit more of investment towards then going, oh yeah, well, you shit, you wankers, to now, oh no, guys, like, I can see what you're trying to do. Keep it up, yeah. And this is it seems like a very, not throwaway line, but it seems like a very sort of like vague thing upon first glance. But when you kind of take all that into account, it's a lot more important than it kind of does justice to at this point. Again, let it play out.
Question.
Yes.
Based on my knowledge of sports from the film Bring It On, would they allow actual members of the public into view training in case that revealed top secret, like super plays and stuff?
It's very rare. As
you said before, I know, but
usually it would be more like an open day. So
like an exhibition matchy sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, or they might just do like an open training session, but it'll usually be like when there's no stakes. At this point in the season, it's ludicrous because
so they're not going to reveal their top secret.
There's
nothing in the crowd.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping like a member of the press going in there and sitting there and
going,
or like
they're all
a
tied
scout
rope
from
around each other's ding dongs. Yeah,
or a scout from another team going and sitting there to the point where so a couple of years ago I went to Barcelona and went to their ground, and while I was doing the tour, they said the pitches you're not allowed into the stands at the moment because the players are actually doing a training session on the pitch, and they wouldn't let fans in until the players had all left the pitch in case of that.
Okay. I thought it was weird, but again, I've only got Bring It On as a point of reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I say, it's not unheard of, especially kind of where we're going with it. Again, we know what's coming, so we know why it's not that.
No, I know. It was just
but you don't want to see. You don't want the
people to see the upside down toboggan or the dripping tap or.
Yeah, you don't want to see how the sausage is made.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they're down at the half. They're down 3-0. They're all over Jamie, the team is, because he keeps falling back instead of staying in front. So Ted talks to him.
Colin and Bumbercatch like bump into each other, and commentary are like, "There's only one word for this."
Yeah, it's a mess, and in the locker room, they're all over him for it.
Well, no, everyone's losing their rag though, isn't it? And like Isaac started doing his big voice as well.
Everyone goes after Jamie, don't they?
They do. All, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Ted says, I remember back in the early days of my coaching career feeling compelled to express my individuality. Since I was a straight fella in middle America working in sports and I was scared of tattoo needles, the only real option for me was to do so through my facial hair. And obviously I couldn't grow a beard. Otherwise, Coach and I here would look like a ZZ Top cover band. Roy says, would have been called Sharp Dressed Men. Ted says, ooh, that's nice. Roy says, God, I hate what you fucking done to me.
What you've done to me.
It says, he starts talking about the blue collar comedy tour. You know, Ron White was clean shaven. Larry the Cable Guy had himself a big bushy goatee. Bill Engvall has a stylized, groomed goatee. Beard says, also known as a Van Dyke. He says, thank you, Coach. Then you had Jeff Foxworthy.
Who goes,
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy, who, of course, had a mustache. So I went ahead and rolled the dice and grew myself with a big bushy Cable Guy goatees. I thought I looked great until Coach Beard took me aside right as I was about to walk down the aisle and told me something I needed to hear. Remember what you said to me? And Beard says, your goatee makes it look like you ate out Bigfoot's butthole. Ted says, that's right. Roy goes, AKA Asquatch. Ted says, you're on fire.
Please make it stop.
Make it stop. No, Coach was right, though. Not a good look.
Like,
not on this face.
Said from day one, like, Roy was the first domino to fall, and he can't help himself now. He's just caught in that vortex.
He is.
Yeah.
Point is, a lot of times the right idea is just sitting behind a couple of the wrong ones. I love that quote. I've used that quote in everyday life. So
it's it is. Like,
yeah.
And then
that's from a previous episode, by the way.
What?
That line. Someone else said it, and I can't remember who. The right idea is just sitting behind a couple of the wrong ones.
Oh,
probably Ted.
Know.
Maybe it was Ted, but I'm telling you, I remember. Yeah.
Ted wouldn't.
Or Higgins.
Reference himself. Could be a Higgins quote. It could be a
sounds like a Higgins quote.
It could be a Higgins quote, actually.
Or even a Dr. Sharon quote.
Oh, that would make more sense.
It's definitely someone like that.
Oh my God, how do we not know this? Right, stop it, shut it down. We can't remember a quote from 3 seasons
Jay, we're
ago.
putting you on. We're putting Jay on Google Detail.
We're fucking frauds.
You're on Google Detail, Jay.
Find out for us. But it's kind that Jamie steps up and he's like, but again, he's very apprehensive. He's like, I want to say something, but I don't want everyone to hate me. And they all just flip him off, and he's like, "All right, fair enough." Like, and then I like the fact that
even Trent does it.
No, but it's like thingy, like Kitman does it like side of the face.
Yeah.
And then like,
Trent's scratching his chin.
Yeah, like Trent's in 100%. But Jamie's like, "We're doing it wrong," and they'll go, "Whoa!" He's like, "No. We're all doing it wrong." And they're like, "Huh?" And then he's the fact he goes, "Can I have permission to touch the whiteboard?"
Originally he goes, "I'm doing it right, you're all doing it wrong."
Sorry, yeah.
And then they're like, whoa. And then he's like, no, I mean, we're all doing it wrong. But I know what I need to be doing. And then that's when, as you say, he goes to the whiteboard.
Did you see when Dunster, like when Jamie got it, he goes, "I need to be here," and then he stops, and you're like, he's getting it. The character is now getting it. He was just going to say it, but when he saw on the board, it clicked. And that goes back to something that somewhere along the line Ted has said about looking the reaction on players' faces when you see they're starting to get it. Like, and that's what's happening with Jamie. Freaking
Keeley
great.
Also not say that he is a visual learner.
Yep.
As well. But I think they were referring to sex more than anything else. But, you know.
That's right.
Still waters run deep. But yeah, you need to play through me. I need to be the center of this. You need to play to
which
Danny and go on.
Which Jamie moving that piece to where he does goes back to when Roy's got the string.
Yeah.
Because that's where Jamie's saying he's going to be playing all the balls from. He's there, the team's around him.
Yeah.
Well done.
Just with less rope.
Just without being actually tied to one another.
So he's basically telling the guys what to do, and everything's clicking. Danny says, and there it is, numero cuatro, sacrifice, putting aside personal glory on behalf of the team.
They all go, yay! And then Ted goes, no, that's not it.
Yeah, it's when you hear of like a lot of the time a manager will say, "I'm going to build a team around this player." So Man City, for example, have Kevin De Bruyne, who is one of the best midfielders on the planet, and he literally plays this role for City that Jamie's going to be playing, where he's in the middle of the field, all the balls go to him, and all the balls go through him, and everything starts with him, and he scores a ton of goals, he sets up even more, and he starts a ton of attacks, but everything will go through him on the pitch.
I was also thinking, is it not a good idea to, like, again, me not being it, but to like put your striker in a position they wouldn't normally be in midfield to like just unsettle people? Why is he here?
I mean, it has its pros and cons. Again, to go back to England, Harry Kane does that, and Harry Kane.
Yeah, but Harry Kane has a magic chin, so
he does have a magic chin, and
he should have rubbed it this weekend, shouldn't he? But
well, yeah, and he should shut up and dribble a different way because he just chats a load of shit and then.
Mate, I watched the after. Anyway, let's not bog this down.
We've
already time stamped it enough to when this was recorded.
He just gets upset that the pundits and journalists criticize him and the team because they're not playing well.
Yeah, who would have thought that watching a match when I actually fell asleep in a pub watching it?
He can't take criticism. But
he's
it's you do every now and again, not so much what you're saying, Joe, but with like the striker going back into the midfield, but you will every now and again get the striker like going out to the left or going out to the right, and then the like right or left sided player coming into the middle and swapping with them. And again, it's just to kind of draw like a defender away. And
Warhammer, I'd be a great football manager. Yeah.
A lot of it is kind of just distracting a defender to go and to strain away from the position, so then another player can come into there and get an opening. Yeah.
What's great is that when they get out on the pitch, It's like
I
poetry in motion.
also like when they go, it's not the fourth thing. Okay, 4 on 1, 2, 3. Then they go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just the stupidest bit, but I loved it. It really made it.
That's actually just reminded me as well. Something I forgot to point out at the start of the match. So just because of something we were talking about on last week's episode with the kits, and obviously he was saying like the home and away kit.
Oh yeah.
So they're actually wearing their third kit here, which is weird because they shouldn't.
What?
Be. So
Yellow,
yeah. So the home kit is the red and blue. The away kit is orange with like a red and blue stripe, and the third kit is bright yellow.
Who are they playing against?
They're playing Arsenal, who play red and white. So that's why they've got the third kit on, because obviously,
mate,
they've got
3
red
kits,
and blue.
Too many kits.
It's in the very unlikely event that the both kits clash. So in this, obviously, orange and red are quite close to one another. So that's why they do it yellow.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know there was I've never heard of the third kit, and I'm genuinely shook.
It's very common in football now, but also you tend to find a lot of.
You might want to cut this out, Tom, because it's not relevant. Have you seen the Blackburn Rovers pink kit? I want one of them.
I have.
Yeah, I might get one. And then I looked up how much they were, and I was like, I'm not getting one. I'll get a hooky one off the market.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just go down the market and get one, mate.
Yeah, I can't the docks. I know. Big legs.
On Beard's Night Out, when they played the big game where Jamie's dad was there and being a jerk, weren't they wearing a different kit then as well? Why am I thinking they were wearing
different season though, mate? Different season. Kits change every season.
Every season they change the kit because money.
Wow.
Usually the home kit will not be that much different. It'll have a generalized.
It'll always the fonting on it or something.
Yeah. It'll always have the same color scheme. So like City will always play in sky blue. Liverpool will always play in red. Newcastle black and white stripes.
Orange.
And then the away kits will always be like, not always be like a massively different. Like for example, Liverpool quite often will have either a white kit or a white and green kit or a green kit as their
silvery normally.
They have had the silver one. City will usually.
I know more about football than I thought I did.
City will usually have like either a white or sometimes orange one, and then like other teams will just vary. But you'll usually tend to find the away and the third kit will be very much like just random color schemes, just to kind of make sure they're not matching other teams or too many other teams.
Christ. Wait until there's a fourth kit. That's when we know it's a racket.
It's a matter of time. There was one season which was mad, where Man City literally had sky blue as the home kit. I think it was white and black as the away kit. And then the third kit was like essentially the home kit, but like a negative of it. So it was like navy blue with like a sky blue trim.
I'm into that.
But they were all very similar, so it was a bit hard to like. You'd still find they were very difficult to kind of like distinguish between the three.
It's all a con. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, it's all money making, mate.
Yeah.
So when they get up back on the pitch, they're playing lights out. Everything's
liquid
beautiful.
Football.
Yeah, they're passing the ball. It's great, and they score. They lose. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Chris and Arlo are.
Oh, we also get another player who crosses it in, and I forgot anything. I think it was Anderson or something. Another player we've never met before. Who again, just one of those things. Just another. It could be the guy with the hat on, to be honest, from before. But yeah, and even the commentary was like, that was. That was a masterpiece, or
that was superb. Yeah,
bloody gorgeous.
Yeah, and as well, I think it was it was nice that, as we said, because obviously they're trying to hammer home the fact that this is going to take time to kind of click for the team.
Oh yeah,
that they didn't need to come back and draw.
If
or
they'd
come
have
back and
stomped home 4-3, it would have been ridiculous.
They just needed that one moment where they've scored, and then it's like, okay, there's
it all
a
works.
glimmer of hope.
Yeah, that's when.
And even like Rebecca's reaction is yes, like they've scored because they haven't scored in a long while. Zava's been gone as well.
When they go back through the locker room, Trent goes in and he is like,
No. What happens is they walk through the door and Trent's hands appear round the door and like force it open, and he's got bam, 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 bam ideas at Ted.
Well, he I think for Trent, the whole thing he keeps saying all throughout the episode is the Ted Lasso way.
Yeah.
And I think the whole thing with the Ted Lasso way is people kind of buying into Ted's vision.
Yeah.
And Trent's probably been the biggest critic of that this episode, especially changing the formation where he keeps questioning Ted. He's like, is that such a good idea? And as soon as he's seen it in action, he's seen it like in practice and it work, he's fully on board. He's like, oh God, yeah, I see exactly what he means.
But again, he's also been there from day one, not like around the team. But
around the club,
like just around the club and from the independent. Trent Krim. But he's also seen it like, and he literally says like, it's to build a team. It's to build people who rely on each other and this, that, and he gets so giddy. Like, as he walks by, he just makes a noise. There's like, Meh! As he walks, and I'm like
he keeps saying, doesn't he? It's gonna work, Ted.
It's gonna work.
And then Roy and Beard are just like, what a fucking nerd. And then Ted's like, but he's our nerd. But I think like that's again, it's one of those big things where Ted's won someone else over to a new idea. And with, as I said, through the whole episode, Trent's kind of the most vocal critic of it, and he's questioning Ted on it the whole time. And Ted's just like, just trust the process, just trust what I'm doing here.
If we can get the lads from the pub on board, why are you so reticent? Yeah.
But then also, it's probably more that Trent's obviously seen a million Richmond managers come and go, and he's seen like a million changes in tactics and changes in formations.
A bit, don't we, as well? Yes, not this episode, but in a while.
He's probably that jaded that he thinks this is not going to work because I've seen people try and do this time and time again. And then as soon as he's seen it actually come to fruition.
Also, he was there in the locker room. He's seen what Ted has done.
Yeah, but he also saw the players' initial sort of like trepidation towards the new system.
He says by building a club-wide culture of trust and support through thousands of imperceptible moments, all leading to their inevitable conclusion.
Imperceptible moments, or as we call them, Tedisms.
Tedisms, indeed.
Yeah. We go from this to Nate waiting on Jade, and as a viewer, I'm like, she's gonna stand him up. Why not just tell him you don't want to go?
Not.
Right?
No.
I wasn't hoping so.
No.
I was just
no. You know, Nate has booked the table for like, you would book the table for 6, wouldn't you? Nate's booked it for 5:45, and like, well, we don't do that. And he possibly might have gone, well, I am Nate Shelley, head coach of Arsenal. And he's going, okay, we can do that. And then he's got there 15 minutes early just to check that everything is exactly what it needs to be, because he's so nervous. And I love Nate. Again, as I said 4 episodes ago, I hate Nate. I'm back on board Team Nate again now, because We got Nate back.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised though as well if she was like not fashionably late, but like she was like
again.
She's but like
as you said,
like
Tom, like
she's late. Well, I don't even think just to fuck with him. I think maybe it's like nerves on her part. And then she's like kind of tried to play it off as I was keeping you waiting sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because he kept her waiting to ask her out.
Oh. Yeah. Do women like you or are they just being nice? We'll never know.
Yeah, she shows up and she looks like a real person this time, which is nice.
Oh.
So yeah.
Swear to God,
She's charged up.
I'm blasted for calling Ted's kid a robot, and
she's charged up. She's fully charged. You can tell. And
I think this is a really nice scene though, where he's like, "Oh, take a seat," and she's like, "Thanks."
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Yeah,
thanks for coming. That's it.
Think I wasn't gonna come? No, it's fine. I like how Jack and Keeley have a seat at the best table in the house at Taste of Athens.
Yeah, and Derek's like, you requested this one.
Yeah. Request best table in the house. Love it. Sam and Ola are driving, and Ola tells him that he met Rebecca. Sam says he asks if he made things weird, and he says yes. Sam offers to take him to the restaurant. The team is there cleaning it up.
Before we get into that, can I just go back to Taste of Athens?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Keeley testing Jack in the same way that Nate did to
Anastasia? Maybe.
Well, I mean, has Keeley ever ate
overlap? There's no overlap of characters there.
No, Keeley hasn't, but obviously Nate's bigged it up to
Nate's
her.
mentioned it.
Oh, yeah, Nate has gone, we'll come out for a night out in Taste of Athens. He's done that every time we're going to have a night out.
I think you might be right there, where it's like she's taken Jack to somewhere a bit more understated, a bit more...
Apparently the food isn't great. Everyone who eats there is like, no.
Except for Nate.
But because, I think I've said this before, it's his family restaurant. Like, they always go there for everything. Yeah. The food could be dog shit, but it's his family restaurant.
You have rose-tinted glasses because, because it's a meaningful place for you.
The baklava is divine. But yeah, and I think I genuinely think this is a ploy on Keeley's part to test Jack.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
To see if she'll go Anastasia on it and walk out. Just a little bit. Sorry.
I did think it was weird that Keeley and Jack were there, but then maybe again it's just because obviously Jack's like got like Epstein Island money and Keeley's like being funded by Jack, so maybe it's like Keeley wants to just kind of like do cheap and cheerful to just go, let's forget about all that.
Could be. I just thought it was
I do definitely agree with what you're saying though, for sure.
Parallel between the two.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think this episode, I think it ends on a great note with the guys. Again, this is another good emotional moment. It's wonderful.
This warmed my heart up after all the rage that had built up through the last half of this episode. Because these are now like an hour-long episodes from now. This is why this episode is so long.
This was bang on an hour. This episode. So this is great because obviously it's just a heartwarming moment, but also one thing that, because of like kind of how like raw and emotional the bit with Sam making the speeches, that does kind of sort of fly under the radar, is all a team looking at one another as if to kind of say, we've got to do something about this. But it's like an unspoken thing to say, we won't tell Sam, we're just going to do it.
Well, they didn't know. Sam didn't come in and go, someone smashed my restaurant up, did they? Someone has gone, why Sam so angry? And then they've gone, oh, the restaurant is has been vandalized, and they've gone, right, well, we're going to go and sort that out then. And like,
Yeah.
for a bunch of football lads, you know what I mean? Like, again, I've been very pro and con this episode, but it's your mate, it's your guy you see every day, like, and you want to go and help him out, and it's just one of those things when he walks in and like Van Damme's up the ladder painting the wall, and he goes, "Oh, he's here." Yeah. Oh, and then Danny wearing a T-shirt that says like "brochachos equals muchachos" or something. I didn't quite get it all.
When Isaac says about his cousin, like, "Oh yeah, my cousin's a joiner," I asked him to give you a discount.
The window. You give me a discount because he's a prick.
And then,
it's like, mate, you're a Premier League footballer. You can afford to pay top rate for glass.
And then another little bit of adding to the mystery that is Bumbercatch is he's fixing the neon sign.
Neon signs is just gas being pumped through tubes. And it's just like, what? Yes. It's just a really lovely scene when he comes in, and like Sam looks genuinely overwhelmed by all this.
When the light comes on as well.
Even Rashad. Is it Rashad with his I brought wine from my cellar? Not the nicest wine, but good wine.
Yeah. But when his dad sees the sign light up and it's his name, that's so beautiful.
Because you assume that he hadn't told his dad what he called the restaurant yet.
Well, his dad's name had not been mentioned throughout the episode.
No, you only find out his name's Ola.
Yeah,
there
because he's talking.
No, he says it earlier.
Does he?
Yeah, he says it to Rebecca when they meet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot that then, for dramatic purposes. But yeah, Simi goes, "Oh, I've heard," and again, I thought we were going to get a moment when he told me a lot about you, and I was like, "Has Sam been knocking off Simi as well?" And no, please call me Ola. And then the light lights up and it's Ola's, and right, I'm cooking everyone food.
And then they go, "Yes, chef."
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah,
it's just a lovely bit, and again, it feeds back to, I know it was a throwaway episode, but the Christmas episode of season 2, where they're all sat around that table, all people that up until Ted got there wouldn't have given a tinker's cuss about each other, like. But they're all there. They're all helping each other. They're all having a whale of a time.
Well, they're a family now, aren't they?
Yeah,
like even when Trent says about them kind of sharing the same vision, the same like bond, it ties into everything on and off the pitch, and you tend to find a lot of football teams will do that, where they have like the teams are like some managers will literally say, right, we're gonna train and then we're gonna all go for a meal together in the evening.
Yeah, well, that seems like enforced joy, like when you got to do Christmas meals at work.
No,
like,
but it's
next to Stevens from accounts, and you're like, I don't give a shit about your wife.
But it's literally like they do it as if they're like a family. Like, so.
No, but they did this voluntarily. Like Simi says, did you phone
them? I know.
Sam says to them, did you phone them? No, they phoned me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, they've found out about this.
Oh, no, but that's what I mean, is that they've built that bond, and like you see, a lot of teams will start off doing that, and then they'll become like really close.
All started with that barrel burning. Told you.
Did.
A lot of ghosts exercise
that episode on season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of stuff.
And it rounds out with I'll get all those mirror pieces replaced. And Sam goes, no, it's okay. It's okay if some things are not perfect.
Yeah,
that's baller as hell.
Yeah.
To leave that sign of that racist attack in your restaurant.
Yeah.
For everyone to see. And you rose above it. And also the bit where him and his dad are cooking in the kitchen is one of the Christ. It's one of the most heartwarming bits, like, anything I've seen in a long while. Because it's a nothing shot. It's
just them dancing and cooking together.
Just that
Really
they've
good.
got like music on, and his dad's doing the like. It's just Sam back with his dad, like, and that's what he's always wanted. It's a lovely round out to the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's a little bit something here for everybody. I mean, I don't know of a storyline they didn't touch. I think everybody's storylines were addressed, and even in some small way. I mean, you could say the stuff with Roy and Keeley wasn't addressed or whatever, but practically everything else was, which is cool. So they got a lot of heavy lifting done in this episode for sure. I feel like.
Good.
Again, we're only 5 episodes away from the end. We've
5 out. We're 5 out, kids. That's episode 7 in the books. 5 more until the dozen of episode 3. I'm sorry, season 3 is done and over, and we are completing this show. Yes, we're going to complete this show. We're getting there.
And then we start
almost
season 4 fantasy booking. Ted Lasso.
How we would write season 4.
By the time we get this done, they might have season 4 announced.
They may actually be on TV at that point. 1, I don't know.
Jamie invents an exosuit.
Well, there's the recording, what we do here, and there's all the work afterward that Tom does, and trust me, it's a lot. But it's okay. I love doing it.
Time we pay you the big dollars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm worth every penny I get paid for stuff, let me tell you. So, yeah, I'm earning my keep. But trust me, we've already talked about what shows next. So anyone that's getting tired of us, I guess you're going to get real tired before it's over with. So
have we decided? I wasn't at the meeting. Are we doing HMs without me now, lads?
Hey?
For the next episode, next season.
Oh, what we're doing?
Show? Oh,
we haven't. We've discussed it at length.
Tom's just alluded to the fact that we have decided. Maybe Tom's decided. He's one that pays the bills. You know, he's one that keeps me in wine gums and disappointed.
I mean, we talked about the bear, but we've also talked about gemstones and.
I tell you what, let's wrap this up and then we can do this afterwards, so it's easier to edit.
We don't want to just tell people.
We could always do a poll.
Ooh, I like that.
Well, okay, we'll put
Democracy Manifest.
I hate Democracy Manifest.
I like that.
It's always trying to get me in a judo hold.
A succulent Chinese meal.
Before we get out of here,
it's delicious.
Before we get out of here, let's get biggest takeaways. Joe, go.
Man, this again, we're rushing home now to the end of the season, but this episode is, like I said at the start, it's that quintessential Ted Lasso nonsense, like absolute silly nonsense, and then a big emotional kick in the teeth, and then whoop, straight back up at the end. Like, they know how to get you. They've got you. But and I wouldn't say a lot of story plots kicking along in this one, but apart from the team, but who cares about that? That's just football. But yeah, it's after the emotional avalanche of, it's not called triangles. This was just like the breath of fresh air that we needed. We've had it in other seasons. You get a big emotional episode and then just like a episode afterwards.
Good call, Jay. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Joe. Like, a lot of stuff doesn't move along at pace. Again, we've talked throughout this episode about how it's specifically framed that it's 5 days. So we know that there's not a great deal of movement in the whole thing. But I think in that kind of self-contained little bit of story, it does move. Like, it does a lot of heavy lifting for that 5 days to then kind of set the stage for where we're going. And it, as I say, it kind of like sets up where we're going for the end of the season. It sets up where we're going to be going for like the next episode or two, maybe as well. But more on that in a bit. And it's just kind of like solidifying, obviously, that things we need to look out on. Obviously, the Keeley and Jack stuff. The team starting to turn their form around, and obviously the other thing is with the fans starting to sort of like come to the training and what's going on there. But yeah, it's not tons of like movement forward, but as I say, that 5-day period, it does a ton of heavy lifting.
I was going to say, I wish to rescind my thing of not a lot of stuff moves forward, but Jack and Keeley's relationship moves forward a lot in those 5 days.
And also Nate becoming...
Yeah, and then Nate as well. Again, there's so many characters now. It's difficult to keep track of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is, like, as far as the team goes, not a lot. As far as some characters goes, bucket loads of development.
Yeah. It feels like, I don't want to call them tertiary characters because I wouldn't say that Nate and Keeley are tertiary characters, but it feels like it does a lot to flesh them out.
I'd say ancillary.
Yeah, but it does a lot to kind of flesh out where they're going and what their stories are at the expense of people like Rebecca and Ted and Roy and Jamie and Higgins.
Yeah, but we get a lot of Rebecca and stuff coming up.
Oh no, I agree, but I think it's obviously we needed to fill in a few of the gaps of Nate and Keeley, and it was nice to kind of have them largely as the focus of this episode, as well as obviously the team learning, like total football being the sort of like the actual on the pitch thing.
Again, like I said, after the huge emotional dump of the last episode, it's okay to focus on some, ancillary, tertiary characters, and just give a bit of plot to you as well. It's fine. They've always done this. We've always said there's peaks and troughs.
Yeah. I mean, the other side of it as well is Sam's like whole arc this episode is
Christ as well. Yeah.
Is the Dark Forest, isn't it? It's the middle bit is the Dark Forest, and then the whole bit at the end with him and his dad cooking dinner for the team is like the light at the end of the Dark Forest.
Yeah. Oh, so we got to see Sam's dad.
Yeah, Sam's dad's great.
And was well worth the wait.
Yeah.
He is a giant wall of a man.
He's 6'6".
And 100 tons, the undisputed king of the slums.
Well, again, we're almost ready to...
The double sex machine for nobody there.
Almost ready to wrap it up. Only got 5 left on season 3, kids, and we will be done with the show of Ted Lasso until they decide to do a season 4, bring it back in some form or fashion. And then if it's something we want to do, maybe we'll tackle that thing if it were to happen. So everybody stay tuned for that. What's that?
If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
If it does, it's fine.
If it does, it does. We probably still will, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Content is content.
It, as I've often said on the 6M podcast, shameless plug time, as I've often said on that show, just because a sequel or a prequel is made, as long as it didn't take away the thing you originally fell in love with, calm down. Like every Star Wars nerd who's losing his mind, and every, Marvel fan that doesn't like women being stars for some reason, like, calm down. They didn't take the movies away. You can still go watch the stuff you fell in love with as a kid, and you're fine. You don't have to like this stuff now. I know it sucks, but
Tom, if I'm not angry at something, what have I got in my life?
Right, there's nothing to live for.
Yeah.
No, I really like She-Hulk. I found the last episode was a bit too meta.
I enjoyed She-Hulk.
Did I care for her twerking and stuff? I didn't care for that because I thought, I don't know what we're doing now.
Harvey loved it.
I thought the show became self-aware and then said, they don't like it. Let's lean into it.
At the end. It got
That's just the whole thing with She-Hulk comics, isn't it?
Well, it's a hard
Very
argument.
self-aware.
I don't.
Well,
either.
let's get out of here. We're getting distracted. Thanks, kids, for watching. We appreciate it. We always get distracted. Thanks so much for hanging out. BoinkStudios.com, BOINK, BoinkStudios.com. You'll find links to every episode, to all the podcasts that we have. These two gentlemen's podcasts you see here before you that you've been listening to. My other two shows as well. Social media stuff. It's updated on the daily. So go check it out. Bookmark the site today if you will. I'd appreciate it. BoinkStudios.com. And of course, we're on the YouTube at Boink Studios. You'll find all the episodes wherever you get your podcasts is Two Nations. You'll find us at Two Nations Pod. We're out of here, kids. Come back soon. Episode 8 on the way. Crazy. We're getting there. We're out of here for today, though, kids. For Jay and Joe, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.